Do you really like it? Is it wicked? I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. We're loving it like that. I heard that song in a shop, and it's been stuck in my head all day. A tune that I despised then and despise now from my childhood. How are we all? Hopefully we're well. I'm very well. I thank you for asking. We're going to be going over some shite, as always, with the delightful No Justice of the MTGs. In just a second. Don't forget. Well, hello there, Dolphin Floyd. Welcome in. 6 months. You're 2/3 of the way to a post-birth baby Bible abortion. Much love. Anyway. Yes. I'm guessing Kev will be going on with Helena. You are correct. Yes. What I especially love about this sign as well that says "Love pies, hate racism" is it's from literally the home.
Stop it. Get some help.
The home of the World Pie Eating Championships, Wigan, in Lancashire, England. Amazing place. Thank you, Dr. Lewis, as well. We're on a hype train. Yes, we're on a hype train, everyone. So if you want to make the hype train go choo-choo, bits and subs, you know the fucking your shtick. How are we, Helena?
Let's go ahead and start the stream, innit? Getting a hype train in early.
Oh, I was trying to say that before, like, anyway, yeah. I wasn't flexing. I wasn't jumping in like, Billy Big Bollocks is in town, yo. No, I wasn't doing that. I was trying to, like, just say that bit before you answered or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, anyway.
Yeah.
But I am, as you asked, I am on a hype train. Yeah.
Everyone go donate. Everyone go give Kevin money. Do it now.
Thank you.
That's an order.
Yes. And likewise, Helena is available for money. That sounds weird. I did not mean it quite in that fashion.
You can pay me for my political analysis like the whore I am.
Honestly, biggest political hoe. And I appreciate her
Absolutely.
hoeing.
Number one political hoe in the UK.
Let's
100%.
go. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I know. I'm not doing too bad. I had a very
good.
kind of relaxing and easy day today, so really can't complain. How about you?
I am alive, and when you're alive, you've got a chance. That's the way I look at it.
True. Doing
Silver
better than
lining.
Thatcher. Hey!
True, and Kissinger. Oh, melters,
Yeah.
the pair of them. Love it. Can we get some lols in chat? Yeah, honestly, death
Get some
posting.
honks.
Couple of deaths, absolutely biggest dubs of recent times. Love it.
Absolutely. Get those honk emotes in chat.
Let's fucking go. Yes.
Honk if Thatcher's dead.
So, I mean, talking of posting fat dubs, the Antifa, they've taken the streets back.
They have, absolutely. We have reclaimed the streets somewhat.
Yeah, you know, it's been fucking dope. Yeah, a lot of people, I suppose, kind of surprised by it all. I'm not really, because look, to be honest with you, the majority are pretty decent. Like, obviously, there's a very loud minority of cunts, and there's a sort of middle ground of, like, soporific fucking dullards, frankly, like Richard Osmond or whoever. But they're not evil, they're just fucking knobs. But the majority of people are alright in this country, I think. And so when they see the extreme bullshit of the last week, they're not going to put up with that. Like, I think even probably a lot of the people on those marches, like, are probably a little bit racist sometimes. But they're not going to put up with that kind of bullshit, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Well, the thing is, as well, is actually there's some really interesting polling that came out of YouGov over the last couple of days, talking about people's viewpoints over the rioters.
Yes.
And what was, I guess,
actually, I think I have.
startling. Yeah, it was
Sorry.
startling. It was startling to see, but not surprising. Right, I was not surprised to see the results of the polling when you break it down party by party. When you, for example, on polling such as, do you have sympathy with the people out on the streets doing the protests, engaging in the unrest? When you break it down by political party, the only political party who shows sympathy with people who are actually engaging in the rioting rather than just protesting, for example, Reform UK are the only ones, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to the people who have any sort of belief that the police are being too tough, on those who are demonstrating or rioting or protesting or lynching in some cases. Again, the only party that shows up as thinking that the police have been too tough on them are the Reform UK supporters. In fact, the numbers are so low, it's basically identical across Tory, Labour and Lib Dem, in that they don't think the police have been tough enough and they don't have any sympathy at all. And in fact, in terms of the kind of punishments people want to see, when you break it down by political partisanship, Reform UK are way, way ahead of anybody else in thinking that they should be more lenient in terms of the kind of punishments that's been handed out. And Conservative voters are the most draconian in some states for these. It's really wild figures. And what this tells you very specifically, these voters aren't going back to the Tories.
No.
Like, this is super interesting to think about the electoral impacts. Of course, it's dangerous to know that there's essentially there's just a fascist party, right?
Yeah.
The UK now has a fascist party that you can vote for. The supporters are fascists. Their platform is essentially based upon this idea of the conspiracy that people from the outside are trying to destroy your society and you must unite to stop them. No matter how many times Nigel Farage goes on TV and tries to, say that he doesn't have any culpability with this. Yeah, that's exactly the polling I was looking at.
Yeah.
The no matter how many times Nigel Farage comes out to condemn it, the people who vote Reform UK, they are the ones who are the people on this demonstration.
Yeah.
And the Conservatives are not anymore, and that's wild to think. And if the Tories are now here, essentially completely disabusing themselves of Reform UK, which they almost certainly have to do after the last weekend, apart from clearly Robert Jenrick, who hasn't got the memo.
We'll get to him in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like this seems like we have a weird political ramifications of this.
It's weird in terms of the sort of precedent of recent times, but for me, it's a fair realignment of things because the Labour Party have always had to obviously tack towards the centre from where their natural territory is in order to gain the centroids, right? That's the thing they do, but they've always faced some kind of reasonable threat from the left. You've had groups like the Liberal Democrats who have often been to the left in recent times. You've had Plaid Cymru in Wales and the SNP in Scotland. The Greens have started to make significant inroads. So the Labour Party have always had a threat from their left that takes away their vote and diminishes their opportunity to really even form governments in many instances. Whereas the Tories have never really had that. They had the BNP, but they were a bit too obvious with it. Like they didn't hide their power levels very well. So they were always like a bit of a peripheral threat. And only really made that one breakthrough at the European elections. And they've never really had a genuinely credible electoral threat from the right, outside of maybe UKIP to a degree, I guess, but they were something of a flash in the pan after Brexit.
And they really were a single issue party as well.
Well, exactly, that's why they fell away once the Brexit thing happened, right? And he tried to launch the Brexit Party and now Reform and all the rest of it. And for me, it's just a natural realignment of things or natural alignment, because it can't be realigned because it never was. It was unfair, basically, in that the far right was sort of forced to vote for the Tory party, and so it dragged the Tory party further and further right, and ultimately hurt the Tory party, I think, in certainly the short to medium term. But they will have to distance themselves now, I think, from the Reform Party, and so essentially you're getting a more accurate picture of the state of play in Britain. The Tories have never ever been able to command a majority of the people. They've never ever been a mass political party, and they've never really been loved by a great section of the people that felt forced to vote for them either. And I think we're only starting to see that reality come forward now that they have a credible alternative to go to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the thing as well is that Farage's own personal approval rating is now in the negative amongst a bunch of Tory supporters as well. Like, a clear demarcation line is going to have to be drawn, and whichever the leader of the Conservative Party is going to be in future is going to have to be the one that makes that line. And I dare say, we talked about this on stream before, I don't know if you saw this, Kevin, but I think the person who's going to divide that line of all fucking people is going to be Priti Patel. Did you see the comments that she made about Nigel Farage?
Well, she, along with, and I think this is the point at which it would be worth showing some of the front pages from the right-wing papers in the last couple of days. The right wing, like you say, Priti Patel, who was, let's not forget, before Suella Braverman became literally the Wicked Witch of the West, Priti Patel was awful. Priti Patel was fucking racist scum in that position. Let's not be under any illusion.
She was advocating for wave machines in the channel
Yeah.
to deter migrants, i.e. to capsize boats and drown them,
Yeah.
would be the actual reality.
So the people who have stoked all of this up, the likes of Priti Patel and the Daily Mail and the fucking Express and all these right-wing wankers, are now having to drag themselves back from the brink. They're now having to say, okay, we went a little bit too far there, lads, let's drag it back a bit. Because apparently now they're pro-anti-fascists. So this was the front page of the Daily Mail today. And like you say, Priti Patel coming out pretty strongly against Nigel Farage. I think the reasonable right wing in this country have gone, actually, We kind of let the Brexit thing go to our heads. They had a bit of a Rumspringer situation where they went with fascism for a couple of years, and I think they're now having to realise, oh shit, we can't really win elections that way. We need to drag it back a bit, you know?
Yeah, because like people overcooked the idea that Boris Johnson was this kind of real right wing of the Conservative Party, because he really wasn't. In fact, the reason why we have such high immigration at the moment is because Boris Johnson changed the rules to allow it.
Yeah.
That's why we're in this position. But regardless of that, this attempt really and truly to rewrite history. The Daily Express also had a cover like praising people going out
Yeah, I've got that.
on the streets to fight the fascists, right?
Yeah.
The to uniting communities against racism.
Yeah.
And when you juxtapose this next to the years and 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 years of terror tactics, really and truly, in terms of stoking terror from the right-wing press in this country, chiefly the Express, the Mail, but also the Telegraph and the Sun and the Times and all of those people, where they have essentially tried to use migrants as a scapegoat with which to create a social movement that keeps people buying their papers over and over again. Because that's what this is really about. There are some ideologues within these papers who are pushing these specifically, the Telegraph chiefly being the most right-wing of these and the most sincere.
Yeah.
But most of all, this has just been the cultivation of a target audience to sell papers and advertising space to. And so after all of this, first of all, to try and change face immediately and say that we're on the side of the people uniting against the thugs. How dare you? It's like the scene in Macbeth. Lady Macbeth standing over the sink, hands covered in blood. Oh, will the spots go away? Nah, mate, I'm sorry, Express. I'm sorry, Daily Mail. I'm sorry, Sun. I'm sorry, Rupert Murdoch. Right? All the perfumes of Arabia will not clean your hands of the blood that it is now covered with. Now that the people who you've whipped up into a frenzy have decided to go on lynching sprees where they try and burn down hotels full of migrants that you were scapegoating. And on top of this, sorry to keep ranting, Kev, but I'll be finished in 1 second.
Yeah, you go for it. You're cooking.
On top of this, all of these media outlets, all of these politicians who, for financial or for ideological, for political or for electoral gain, have been scapegoating migrant communities, who've been scapegoating legitimate asylum seekers by calling them illegal immigrants when they're just irregular migrants who've claimed asylum, right? Completely misnaming them for explicitly political reasons as well. Now all saying, oh, first of all, isn't it brilliant how the actual anti-fascists who you derided as being left-wing wacko weirdos or anti-Semites or trots before, isn't it great that they're on the streets? But on top of that, they're saying, oh, isn't it terrible how Elon Musk and social media and how Twitter has picked up these people into a frenzy. Why won't Keir Starmer regulate Twitter and regulate Facebook for the misinformation? As if these people haven't been patient zero for misinformation, for whipping up a frenzy, for getting people angry, for scapegoating minorities, right? Social media may be the new vector by which people organize. Telegram might be the way that people will get together to be able to get into the groups that cause the incidents that we've seen. The unbanning of Tommy Robinson on Twitter might have given him the platform to be able to spread this, to mainstream it, or to widen the appeal of the actual groups. But the mainstreaming of the opinions is directly coming from our politicians and from our media and from our think tanks and from our upper classes, who are fundamentally Islamophobic and racist and also greedy capitalists as well. So for them to go after Twitter, right, as if that is somehow the cause rather than the symptom, is so nakedly self-interested, it makes me want to scream. And that's it. That's my bit, Kev.
Well, honestly, I feel my absolutely pathetic powers to add would be nothing toward it, and it was a beautiful piece. Well done. I will also point out, I think if there's one good thing to come out of these fascist riots, is that your reference game has gone crazy. Because you usually come in with like Simpsons references, and now you're doing Macbeth. Fucking perfumes of Arabia. How'd you slip that one in there? Fucking beautiful. Seamless.
The perfumes of Arabia, that comes from when George Galloway used that same reference against Jackie Smith about the war in Iran.
Doesn't matter. You're still quoting the bard. It's a beautiful thing.
It's true. Yeah, exactly. I'm the true British here. I know my historical British quotes from the Pride of Britain, Bill Shakespeare.
Exactly. Old Billy Bollocks. Absolutely lovely work,
Absolutely.
mate. Top
Because
top boy.
so I knew this would come up on stream, and so I was just like, I know exactly the cover, the cover photo of the video that I put up on YouTube. It's going to be that in one, I think, at the National Theatre, put on a performance of Macbeth. I had
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart in as well,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
just this great picture of Lady Macbeth in front of the sink with her hands covered in blood.
Yeah.
I can just put like the tapestry of Express, Sun, and Daily Mail headlines behind it.
Yeah. Out, damn spot, out. Yeah.
Indeed.
Because she keeps
indeed.
hallucinating that the blood is still there. It's a symbol
Yeah,
of guilt. She's feeling
Exactly.
guilty. Sorry if I've passed
Exactly.
out Shakespeare too much for people. I apologise.
I mean, at the end,
Do you have to do spoiler alerts on 400-year-old plays? I'm not sure you do.
and at the end of the day, right? This is what you're seeing from the media and the politicians and
Yeah.
the people who are,
Well, yeah, exactly.
as I said, patients there of these problems. They can feel the guilt. They know
Yeah.
they're to blame, and rather than accepting that they're to blame and apologizing and saying, "I will do better," they're finding scapegoats, or they're pretending that they were never there.
Well,
Scumbags,
exactly.
absolute scum of the earth.
There are a couple of points to sort of pass out from what you were saying. Firstly, they want to regulate social media because it would help their dying brand of media. It's self-interest, if nothing else. The fact that the same papers who've derided and done so much to try and undermine the push towards Leveson 2, to try and stop their own papers from having to undergo similar kind of legal scrutiny, and now are pushing that on social media, is interesting. The same bullshit lies that you can now see from the likes of Elon Musk or whoever have been published as reader pieces and thought pieces in the likes of the Telegraph and the Daily Mail for fucking decades now. It's how we got Brexit. It's how we got Nigel Farage as an MP. That this is, I mean, it's how we got fucking Priti Patel and fucking Suella Braverman as Home Secretary, a position that neither of them should have been anywhere near. And again, and this is the point, right? They're trying to retcon history. Priti Patel was so fucking evil in that role that she followed on from the fucking hostile environment, Theresa May's hostile environment for migrants, and she was seen as going too far at that point. A lot of Tories didn't like that. They thought it was too harsh then. And now she wants to turn around and try and be the reasonable face of conservatism. No. They absolutely, like you say, I think the Macbeth reference is very good. I think they know that the blood is still there. They're just going to pretend otherwise. They're just going to pretend like my hands are clean on this. No, motherfucker, this is on you too. You don't get to stoke the fire and walk away.
Yeah, just scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing, but it won't. That spot will not out. It's true. Like, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
And again, by trying to essentially blame social media for this as well,
It's also very boomer. It's the kids these days and their phones. That's what's causing it. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, we had fucking cable street before most people had fucking radios. What are you talking about, dickheads?
Exactly. The mediums may change, but the ability for these people to organize themselves to do the heinous shit that they do will never go away. They will find other means if you shut down the means. You have to hit it ideologically. You have to hit it in the material conditions. You have to root it out from source. You can't just stop people from organizing, because when the BNP went away, it was replaced by UKIP. And when UKIP went away, it was replaced by the Brexit Party. And when the Brexit Party went away, it was replaced by Reform UK. And now it's this disparate group of people like the EDL and Patriotic Alternative, or whatever name that these people have it under. And I'm like, I'm sorry, whether or not Twitter is being unscrupulous with this shit, to be clear, it is. I don't think Elon Musk is innocent at all. In fact, I think he's incredibly guilty, by basically being a neo-Nazi at this point anyway.
Well, literally
right?
spreading the shite today, the absolutely ridiculous and false rumour that the government are going to set up concentration camps in the Falklands to process these people. The fuck are you talking? What good would it do to fly people to the fucking Falklands? How is that cheaper or quicker? The fuck are you talking about? Jesus.
Ascension Island, yeah.
Fucking
doing
mental.
our own Manus Island.
It's
thing.
like FEMA camps, but on the other side of the world. What are you doing? Your conspiracies are even shitter than usual.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, even the social media networks A lot of the time, they just share articles and opinion pieces and viewpoints that have come from the top down. I've spent my entire time when covering these riots trying to be explicitly clear where this stuff comes from, and it does not come from the bottom up, it does come from the top down. It comes from the politicians and the think tanks and the people at GB News and all of those people who help spread this message. The vector that they use, whether it's YouTube or Twitter or whatever it is, or traditional media, it doesn't matter. And so by just saying, well, if there was no Twitter, our articles would be completely blameless on top of this, right? That's why they are trying to deflect so hard, because they know they are guilty, as you say.
Yeah.
That's why the Macbeth ones really wanted to go with.
Well, also on that point, absolutely delicious and apposite joke from chat. Brexit stage right, chased by bear. Come on. Come on! That is one of the most highbrow puns you will ever see, and it works beautifully. Absolutely lovely work.
Excellent.
Anyway.
That is excellent.
Anyway. So, the person who most immediately has the blood on their hands, though, of course, is this fucking dopey bitch. Bonnie Spofforth. By the way, Spofforth, surname of the bowler that ultimately led to the Ashes, being called the Ashes. Fred the Demon Spofforth. Go into it if you want to. It's a whole thing, people. Anyway, I don't know if she's related. Hopefully not. Anyway, so this was the person who has been accused, we have to say at this point, of first spreading the bullshit that a person called Ali Al-Shakati, which is a kind of dumb name anyway, whatever, which is a false name that doesn't exist. No one of that name is a thing. Was the person behind the stabbing of the 3 children, which led to the riots in Southport, etc., etc. The domino that fell that knocked all the rest of them over. This person literally has all of this violence on their hands. She is a 55-year-old woman from Chester, and she has now been arrested under laws pertaining to stirring up racial hatred and false communications, and she remains in police custody. So that's fucking dope. It's good to see that the finding out stage has at least begun.
Do you know what background she is? I'd be super interested to find, again, this is a person, again, literally actual patient zero of the lie on this one.
Yeah.
I wonder, with a name like Spofforth,
yeah,
is this going to be...
I don't know. Does it say Spofforth posted the claim...
There you go. Businesswoman who lives in a £1.5 million farmhouse in Cheshire.
Yeah, there you go. So again, as we mentioned, this fucking classist bullshit about it being, it's all thick working class scumfucks. No. They might have been the working class people stealing from Greg's, I imagine. But she lives in a £1.5 million house. Yep. This is a very wealthy person. Fascism is a petite bourgeois concept. Yeah.
And it always has been. It was in the 1930s in Germany. It is in the Trump base, the January 6th people over in America. Yep. They were all the petite bourgeois, and they try and pretend that they have people on their side.
Well, they literally...
And of course, we all...
My favourite story of that is the woman who claimed to be a downtrodden working class person from the Rust Belt, blah, 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 had literally taken a private jet from her home to Washington, D.C. to be a part of January 6th.
Yeah, it's exactly the same groups of people. Now, I think that there are plenty of people who are angry amongst working class communities. I will refer you back to the TikTok that we watched on stream yesterday, or on Tuesday even rather than stream yesterday. But this idea that it's a working class thing, like Alex Phillips on Talk TV was explicit in saying, no, this is just justified working class anger, and broadly working class people hate this stuff. They may be anti-immigration, they may be angry with governments for not bringing down immigration. I disagree, as I keep saying, but they have a legitimate political viewpoint to oppose immigration for economic or whatever reason that they have. But they're not necessarily people who are on the streets doing things. And in fact, the vast majority of society from any background think that what's gone is completely is awful, is completely...
Well, we saw
obscene.
that here. Yeah, look. Where was it? Hang on. Just 1 in 8 Britons thought the riots were justified, but 6 in 10 had sympathies with the peaceful protests. Again, to the point that I think a lot of people have an issue with the immigration system and how it operates, but actually what went on with the riots and shit, that's not fucking okay. No one's on board with that shit. It's not righteous working class anger. It's just wankers being wankers.
Exactly, and that's why people like Alex Phillips from Reform UK on Talk TV were saying, "Well, this is a working class. This is they're not fascists or far right. They're just working class people." First of all, because the people from these posh, rich backgrounds, these petite bourgeois people, usually the new money type people who think that they've made it, for example,
Yeah.
they never really truly see themselves as being people who've gone through class mobility. And on top of that, when they get into this kind of petite bourgeois fascism, they want to build class collaborationism rather than class consciousness, which would naturally not find her allies in the previous communities that they've received mobility out from. They want to be able to build it across class lines, and that's what fascism has always been. It has always been a class collaborationist
Yep.
ideology around the nation state being a unifier rather than class or economic position being a unifier.
Absolutely, yes. Although, also, hello, lesbian hot sauce. Everyone go and follow lesbian hot sauce, who is awesome, and a goddamn Antifa. I saw her. She was live streaming from an Antifa march in
That's so
Sheffield.
based.
Yeah, exactly. I can only assume incredibly anti-Semitic. Is all I can say. That's probably how that works. I reckon. Definitely.
Kazaku says that all social movements must be mobilized in the working class, as they are the people, and it's just numbers, but doesn't mean that they're driving it. I think that's broadly correct. However, I would just like to point you towards the Remain in the EU march and the signs that we saw on that. Not every single social movement can specifically be mobilized out of working class people, because, I don't know, people march around with signs saying, "Do you really think that my dog can't go on his skiing holiday?"
True. Also, just from history, I feel Mao turning in his grave. Actually, the countryside and the peasantry, what he got going. I even fucking start with that shit. Now, to be fair, the suburban, I don't even know what you call them, peasantry or whatever. I don't really exist in Britain, so that's not an option for us. But
No,
the
true,
landlord thing is. I'm just saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
100%, right?
Anyway.
What is interesting, there's so much history has been conflict between urban and rural left-wing people. I mean, just look at the Soviet Union.
Yeah, true. Yes. So, talking of the Antifas and all the rest of it, we can get on to the actual rioting. One thing I thought we could look at, this could be boring as shit, right? So even if it is, we'll just turn it off, it don't matter. But I thought it would be interesting, because I didn't realise this was even legal. Because in Britain, just to explain for any Yankoids watching, right, cameras aren't in courtrooms, right? Cameras are never in other than the Supreme Court, which has started doing that in recent years. But other than that, you never see a camera inside a courtroom. That's why it's always like some really shit painting of people that makes them look like weird NPC characters or something. It's really odd. Except today, for some reason, in Liverpool, where these two fucking pricks were sentenced to like 3.5 years apiece, and the sentencing was broadcast live.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, I've never seen that before. So should we take a look? And if it's really boring, we can just turn it off. It's not a problem.
I mean, it's an important piece of history, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't think this has ever happened before. Like I said, I didn't even realise this was legal to do. Maybe it's up to the judge. I don't know. But anyway, and now Americans. We are a serious country. Take us seriously. Here is a man in a powdered wig. I'm just saying. A man in a powdered wig is about to send two people to jail for multiple years. Enjoy.
Also, a good point from Les Watson chat as well about the class collaborationism. Like, specifically why the Nazis called themselves National Socialists is because they thought by calling ourselves socialists we'll win over working class people.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, literally true.
Shout,
that's literally why they chose the colour scheme as well, because they wanted to get communists on board. They thought, and it seems to have worked. Some people saw the red flags and went, "Let's go to that meeting," and that's enough. They just needed to get them through the doors at first.
Yeah, the MAGA communists.
True. Anyway, so yeah,
I'm just gonna go. Well, I'm gonna be listening into this while we watch it. I'm just gonna go get a drink. One sec.
Powdered wig, fucking cravat. Let's go.
John O'Malley and William Nelson Morgan, you can both remain seated for the time being. You have both been committed.
To be fair, I'm not sure his wig is powdered because this is a Crown Court in the localities, but in the High Court in London, they do have powdered wigs, legitimately. Some twat who's never, like, spoken to a person who doesn't live in a mansion wears a powdered wig and can send you to jail forever. Like, it's mental. It's very 15th century pilled. Yeah.
for sentence for separate offences of violent disorder and, in your case, William Nelson Morgan, for an additional offence of possession of an offensive weapon. All of these offences arising out of the deplorable mass public disorder which has taken place in Southport and Liverpool over the past week or so. Every decent member of the community affected by these events will have been appalled and deeply disturbed by what has taken place in their neighbourhoods. You, John O'Malley, committed your offence on the evening of Tuesday the 30th of July in St Luke's Road in Southport. And you, William Nelson Morgan, committed yours 4 days later on the 3rd of August in the County Road area of Walton in Liverpool. At both these locations there was very serious mob violence, and each of you was at the forefront of that lawless behaviour. Before I turn to your individual offending, let me say something more generally about the background and the factual context within which each of you behaved as you did. On Monday the 29th of July, so a little over a week ago now, a number of families in the town of Southport suffered devastating loss when 3 little girls and numerous other children and adults were brutally killed and seriously injured in a knife attack at a holiday dance class. And while still shocked and bewildered by these terrible events, that many residents in the town came together the following evening on Tuesday the 30th of July for a vigil in support of the grieving families. However, at the same time, there were others who saw these events as an opportunity to sow division and hatred.
And one of those men had testicles made out of material that attracts bricks. It's like magnetic for bricks, which is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate affliction. God bless him.
True.
And so published on social media and in printed leaflets false information about the supposed nationality, ethnicity and religion of the alleged attacker. Of course, all of that was complete nonsense, but from that point on, it has been used as a pretext for widespread violence, intimidation and damage, beginning that night in Southport and escalating subsequently across the country, including into this...
Can I just say, you people in chat are fucking mental. I just for the Americans' benefit, I went, oh look, powdered wigs, lol, let's laugh at Britain, just a joke. And they've sent me a fucking 10-minute long video making legal wigs for British courts. Why do what? Like I'm gonna watch a fucking video about making powdered wigs for dickheads? Behave yourselves.
City, Liverpool. On the evening of the vigil in Southport,
thank you,
the police
non-binary,
thought that they would be joining a community in mourning. But by the end of the night, those same officers were attempting to defend a part of the town and themselves in what was a pitched battle with a large and utterly lawless mob. It is estimated that there were about 1,000 so-called protesters present that night.
So-called protesters? Media, are you listening? You're pitching yourself to the right of a bloke in a powdered wig and a cravat. You're to the right of a fucking court judge now.
Well, he's a lefty lawyer, Kev.
Sorry, no, yeah. Enemies of the people. My bad. I forgot.
Yeah.
No, my bad.
Though quite what they were protesting about remains a mystery to many.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. What the fuck were you protesting for? It was already illegal to stab children. He was in custody. What the fuck?
The truth, of course, is that they were protesting against the idea that the country was playing host to quote-unquote illegal immigrants and paying money for them.
Yeah.
Even though they were not illegal, and they're not migrants, they were asylum seekers, and they arrived irregularly, which is the legal process.
Yeah.
It was an explicit lie. It was a lie placed in legislation by the Conservatives and was propagated throughout the public discourse by a completely subservient media, a lick-spittle media who took their completely nonsense framing, their completely untrue framing, they deliberate lie of their framing of the problem with irregular migration in the Channel and never challenged it. Not
Yeah.
once, not once in a single time. Not a single time did I see, or it was on the BBC or ITV or in the papers or on the news or online or on social media, that I ever see any quote unquote mainstream media journalist at any point question whether the illegal migrants were actually irregular ones arriving via means that they had to arrive by. No point. They just called them illegal migrants because that's what the government had told them to say.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The mob were quite deliberately targeting a mosque, and as officers formed a cordon, they were subjected to repeated foul abuse and threats, and deeply offensive racist language was directed at the mosque and everybody or anyone inside. Over several hours, windows were smashed, walls were demolished, and the recovered bricks were hurled time and again at the police, who were attempting to protect the community. A police vehicle was set on fire, and the mosque was very badly damaged, as were other buildings in the area. Over 50 police officers were injured. And the people doing all of this, that weren't exercising some right to freedom of expression or lawful protest, but rather that they were exploiting the anguish of others, either to further their own twisted ideology, or more likely, as an excuse simply for vandalism, intimidation and violence.
True. And for anyone wondering in chat, I know he sounds and looks like he might be able to send them to a penal colony in the newly found Australia, but he will not be sending anyone to Van Diemen's Land. On this particular occasion, they did stop that in 2003. Okay? So, just...
They are criminals, and they do not represent the decent people who were appalled by their behaviour and left subsequently to clean up their mess. Over the following days, there was similar public disorder across the country and at various locations here in Liverpool. On the night of Saturday the 3rd of August, there was widespread disorder in the Walton area of the city when many more police officers were injured in clashes with a large crowd intent on causing as much trouble and damage as possible. Now, I have seen a statement written by the Chief Constable of Merseyside setting out in clear terms the consequences of this offending on police resources and effectiveness, and the impact on individual officers who are literally on the front line.
Would it be unfair to just go, "Oh, boo-hoo," at this point? Should we just ignore that bit for now? Because the police are always cunts, but just the A-cab in me doesn't want to overlook the opportunity, you know.
What's actually weird to me from going on the pro-Palestine protests and
you mean no the hate marches, please.
The hate marches, sorry, yes, and looking at the kind of stuff we've seen right now, I've become I still believe in the force of the police being something that protects capital, but the individual police officers, I've become less aggravating towards them because they were actually really good at policing the pro-Palestine protests. There were no real scuffles with police. There was very few actual arrests that happened. Everything was orderly. It was I was expecting it to be really fucking confrontational, and it just wasn't. It was really weird.
Look, I think we're going to have to cancel her.
Yeah.
She's gone full bootlicker.
I'm absolutely, yeah.
All cops are awesome, according to No Justice.
Literally, I had my Netpol briefing on my phone going, I know they're going to try and get me arrested for this, and this. I know full well exactly the kind of powers that they've been given specifically to deal with people like us on lefty protests and demonstrations against actions by the government that gave them that power. And no, they just stood at the side, just
all you've got to
having
do
chats with people.
all you've got to do is tell them your name and address. That's it. You don't have to tell them anything else. Fuck them.
Exactly. Although to be fair, it also says just how peaceful the Palestine protests were. The police officers were never given an excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they were never given an excuse, and in fact, their desire to keep the peace, where we saw the biggest kind of police scuffle that happened during the Palestine march, was fucking Gideon Falter getting mad about the fact that he was being separated from them.
Yeah, exactly. Was someone, an outside fucking idiot, a Zionist, trying to kick up a fuss? Was the real problem there? Yeah, mad. What was I going to say? I can't remember now. Anyway, continuing.
In addition to the physical and psychological harm caused to those officers and their families, that they're enforced...
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, the lesbian hot sauce brought up the Falklands thing. Yeah, we did sort of mention that in passing, but the far right are putting this thing out that the British government are going to have concentration camps in the Falkland Islands, which is literally the other side of the fucking world. Obviously not. And they're not going to do that anyway. They're just going to take them through the legal process. What the fuck do they think is happening? And of course, this was amplified by fucking Elon Musk, the dopey prick. Honestly, he's an active danger. The British government should genuinely think about shutting down Twitter in the UK until they can meet some kind of standard. We did it for Russia today. Why is Twitter different?
I mean, if you're somebody watching who follows either me or Kev on Twitter, please just download Threads. Use that instead. I mean, Zuckerberg is still an evil lizard man, but at the very least, he's not an open neo-Nazi.
No, exactly. He's a hidden one. Yeah, sue me, bitch. I'll see you in reptile court.
Absence from duty has increased the burden on those officers who remain, those who are fit to be deployed to protect the communities that they serve, and the extra cost which must be borne by the public.
I'm not calling him Malvinas, not because I don't think the Argentines should have like access to the thing or whatever, but firstly, most of the people who say call it Malvinas are insufferable liberal cunts, right? I'm not having any of it. And secondly, Argentina's really racist, so sticking it to them is funny. Fuck them.
I mean, actively making Javier Milei mad is something that I'm down with.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, actually. Yeah.
I'm saying, actually, tell you what, if we're going to send criminals, send them to the Sandwich Islands.
No, that sounds too tasty. I know it's not, but it sounds nice. I kind of want to go to the Sandwich Islands. Or the Cook Islands. I'm good either way.
Kazuko asked, do people actually use Threads? Because you're getting exhausted with all the hate on Twitter. People do use Threads. I mean, I saw tweets by Elon Musk's daughter getting like 30,000 likes or something. So it's clearly not as widely used as Twitter, but the platform is basically the same. The user interface looks a little bit more slick. I mean, it'll take some time to get over the teething issues, but it seemed fine to me.
Yeah.
Is enormous. Southport is a town where families live and work and grow old and take pride in the closeness of such a supportive community. Liverpool is a dynamic city, full of wonderful people who have worked hard to develop a reputation for creativity and enterprise. And your actions, together with hundreds of others, have disgraced and damaged the reputations of that town and this city. It has long been recognised that there is an obligation on sentencing courts to do what they can to ensure the protection of the public, whether in their homes or in their businesses or in the streets, and to protect the places where they live and work.
So probably don't send peaceful protesters to prison for 5 years then. That's what I would think, actually. Probably not. Considering there's already a shortage of prison places, probably not a wise use of the available space.
Yeah, quite. And also on top of that, it's just like all of that talk of two-tier policing and we're getting 32 months for engaging in rioting versus 5 years for planning protest on a Zoom call.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Sorry. Conspiracy to commit public nuisance.
Which again,
correct name.
Again, for Americans, you'll think that's like a sarcastic thing that was just said. That was literally the crime that was committed. Conspiracy to cause a public nuisance.
Public nuisance, exactly. Because you know what's a public nuisance? Apparently, stopping the M25. However, right, trying to burn down hotels full of asylum seekers. That's just sparkling demonstration and protest.
True.
Legitimate concerns.
True. Righteous anger. Am I right, brothers? Let's go.
In seeking to achieve this aim, the courts will typically impose severe sentences for offences involving or connected to large-scale and violent public disorder, intended to provide both punishment and deterrence. Quite simply, that those who deliberately participate in such disorder, causing injury, damage and fear to communities, will inevitably be punished with sentences designed to deter others from similar activity. Other offences, such as criminal damage or arson or threatening behaviour or assault or possession of weapons committed in the context of widespread disorder, will be regarded as aggravated forms of that offending. Also, It matters not that a particular
I don't know what that
offender
means.
voluntarily
Basically, I believe he's suggesting that his interpretation of the law, and therefore what he's going to go with, is if you had weapons on you, even if you didn't use them, you were part of a riot, you're basically going to get done for that. It's not, you can't claim,
Yeah.
I was just walking through the area with a knife. No, motherfucker, you had a
Yeah.
knife at a riot. You're a violent lunatic. Enjoy porridge, you know?
If it's termed as aggravated, because I know aggravated is like a specific legal term, I think.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What utility does that serve in terms of the kind of sentencing guidelines?
I have no
you know.
fucking idea.
Someone
don't
in
know.
chat try and let me know.
Yeah, the only legal expert we have on my channel is an American, so that is of no use to us in this situation. Anyway.
present at the scene of a disturbance did not instigate the disorder or play a leading role, or themselves throw a missile at the police or cause particular damage. As has often been observed in cases such as this, it is an unavoidable feature of mass disorder that
Oh,
each
so I think he's saying even if you didn't do anything specifically, if you were there, you
shit.
you were a part of the thing.
I mean, yeah, like you know, I understand, you know, especially when you're in a riot is happening, sometimes your inhibitions can go away. But most people, I think, you know, most normal people, most well-adjusted people will look, even if they're out and mad and they're even looting things from Greg's or out there chanting pretty racist stuff, right? Once it gets to the point where you see people trying to inflict mass murder on trapped hotel workers and asylum seekers, most people would go, "Nah, mate, I'm out."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was just racist horseplay, but now we're doing the lynchings and the pogroms. I'm out, actually, chat. I'm gone. You know,
Yeah.
You've lost me.
Yeah, exactly. Like at that point, you leave. So even if you get collared later, you can at least say, "Look, I was down with some race baiting, shouting a few bits and bobs." But then some dickhead brought out a Molotov, and I was like, "Nah, fuck this. I'm done." Do you know what I mean? And I think they probably let you off with a slap on the wrist at that point, you know?
Yeah, aggravated is basically a degree of seriousness. It's worse than the normal, essentially. So it just means higher levels of sentencing. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Which I think is fair, yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, against
Participants
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if somebody can
Whatever
get
it might-
deported for stealing a scoop of ice cream in 2011,
Yeah.
right, we can get people who were there during pogroms and get these people hanged up.
I brought it up on stream yesterday. But there was a comparison that a young lad got, I think it was something like 2 months for some minor fucking thing in one of these riots. And he was like the first one to be sentenced, I believe. And someone compared that to the 5 months that was given to a woman who stole £3.50 worth of water during the 2011 riots. She went into like a Sainsbury's or something and stole a small packet of bottled water and got 5 months.
Love it.
But again, the right wing are such bitches that they will tell you the two-tier justice system is against them rather than for them.
Oh yeah, honestly, there's so much of this, especially the people's perception, again, going back to that Reform UK thing where everybody thought that the police weren't tough enough on the rioters, apart from Reform UK voters. I'm just like, those Reform UK voters who said the police are being too tough, those are the only people in this country who genuinely believe in two-tier policing.
Yeah. And also, let's be honest, they believe they're being too harsh on them because some of them were expecting a fucking knock on the door. Do you know what I mean?
I was like, just in general, like they perceive the police to be their bulwark against the outgroup rather than neutral arbiters of the maintenance of society. It's just like on January 6th, the woman who went out going, "Oh, they maced me.
Yeah.
We're doing a revolution." I'm just like, you're not. You're just another fucking criminal to them.
True. But also, if you are doing a revolution, do you think the people that are revolted against just go, "Oh, fair enough then," and let you have it? No. Of course they're going to fucking mace you. Be lucky you got away with just some mace. Revolution is difficult and dangerous.
Yeah, well, to be fair to the January the 6th quote unquote revolutionaries, after getting so mad about not taking the vaccine, Ashley Babbitt got her shot in the end.
Ayo! Absolute pain in the neck, that one. I'm telling you. Ooh,
True.
crazy.
might have been when considered in isolation, is capable of stirring up and encouraging others to behave in a similar way, and that the harm to the public stems from the combined effect of what is done by everyone who is present. Having set out those general principles, I now turn to deal with the offences to which each of you has pleaded guilty.
They are fucking long-winded, these pricks, aren't they? He's now going to start. Fucking hell.
The offence of violent disorder and the offence of possessing an offensive weapon, there are sentencing guidelines which I must and will follow. And principally my task is to determine in each of your cases separately your individual culpability and the harm each of you caused. Dealing firstly with you, John O'Malley. You're 43 years of age now.
These fucking Irish coming over here, causing trouble. Outrageous. I mean, I'm so glad that my dad can't work a computer, because he wouldn't even accept that as a joke.
You were present from an early stage at the disturbance on St Luke's Road in Southport. There is very clear footage showing the developing disorder, and you were at the front of what was essentially a baying mob. You were part of a surge that broke through police lines, and you were standing next to the police vehicle that was being destroyed. You were present.
Yeah, that's a bit aggravated, yeah. I don't think you can claim to have been strolling by at that point. If you stood next to the burning fucking vehicle.
She's there for a selfie.
Yeah, exactly. I was cold. I was just warming my mitts. I saw a fire. What's wrong with... Can a man not enjoy a succulent fire? Really? On
This
that
is
point.
democracy, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Absolute legend. He died.
F's in chat.
Yeah.
F's in chat.
Carlson, he died in Australia, indeed. God bless him. And he's now eating at the succulent Chinese restaurant in the sky. God bless him.
Missiles of every description were raining
Get
down
your hand off
on
my
us,
penis!
including bricks, traffic cones, wheelie bins, road signs, tins of paint, and the occasional firework. It was relentless, and you were at the front and participating enthusiastically. I have seen the footage, and there were plenty of opportunities for anyone to leave who did not want to be there. You were arrested 5 days later and made no comment in interview. You have 2 previous convictions, including a recent one for assault by beating.
How the fuck did he only get 3 years then? It's not a first offence, and he refused to say shit.
I don't know what the sentencing
Motherfucker.
guidelines for these things are.
Well, that's...
Also, by the way, I was like to point out, for some reason I only just remember this now. I've loaded a bunch of new emotes into both Twitch and YouTube.
Oh.
A couple of new animated ones, a bunch of new static ones on both ends. So if you want to make use of the new emotes, you're very welcome to do so. And also, if you want access to the emotes, you can subscribe on Twitch for $4.99 or for free with Twitch Prime by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You can get Kev's emotes, Kev's excellent emotes, such as the Kevin Wiggler over on Kevstream.
True.
By doing the very
And
same.
I forgot I even had that. I do have a Democracy Manifest ACAB emote as well on Twitch, yeah. I forgot I even had that, yeah. Yeah, because we found him. He was interviewed, like, I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago. And he's a fucking mental case, obvious, or was, rest in peace. And he was making Chinese food in his garage, where he does painting and stuff. Like, he's just a really weird, eccentric guy, you know. Yeah, bless him.
Excellent. Yeah, someone just used it in chat. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you can drop bits on by the mine or Kev stream. 100 bits for me or 200 bits for Kev gets you text to speech. Now that I've remembered to turn my alert box back on. On YouTube, you can become a member for 99p, which is cheaper than a can of Red Stripe. Get you access to my emotes in chat, as well as my archive live streams. And you can also gift memberships to your fellow viewers to spread the love around, to boost the stream in the algorithm, and also to help support the channel if you want to do that.
Is this real? Is this a real thing, chat? Mr. Democracy Manifest, get your hands off my Pinot. And it's
incredible. Pinot
Grigio wine? Did he have a wine? Oh, it's amazing.
What a legend.
Absolutely, yeah, king. Absolute
oh, wow,
kingship.
Jesus Christ. Scaly Bubble with the 50 gifted memberships.
Nice.
50 membership. Wow, very, very, very much appreciated, Scaly Bubble. That is incredibly generous of you. Thank you for supporting the stream today.
Let's go.
You have, of course, pleaded guilty, and you are entitled to full credit for that plea. I'm told that you now deeply regret what you did on that night.
Yeah, but he fucking does.
But apart from that, there is very little further mitigation available to you. Turning to the sentencing guidelines, I am satisfied that your offending falls into culpability category B, because you participated willingly in an incident involving widespread and large-scale acts of violence on both people and property, where there had obviously been planning by someone, and it lasted for several hours. In terms of the harm caused, it is category 1, because almost every category 2 factor is present, and they have to do with the significant resulting injury and fear and distress, and the serious disruption and impact on the community. The starting point for a category B1 violent disorder is 3 years imprisonment, with a range up to 4 years. In your case, there are significant aggravating features which have not already been taken into account and which justify a substantial upward adjustment in the starting point. That you have a previous conviction for an offence of violence. More significantly, you were part of a crowd using obviously racist and religiously intolerant language that was demonstrating quite deliberately outside a mosque. And you were an active and persistent participant.
See, for me, if you've got previous, like, I can understand an error. Like a first offence, I really do think people should be given leeway. Like, if it's bad enough, obviously go to jail, whatever, that's fine. But, like, there should be a lower floor, but a significantly higher ceiling to the sentence on this. If you're a repeat offender, if you've got previous for violence and you're involved in this, I don't think 10 years is out of order. You are an actual fucking danger to society.
I agree. That's the thing, right? Is that riots happen so infrequently.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get caught up into thinking that there will be you're protected as a group, and therefore there will be no comeuppance and there will be no ramifications for engaging in it, right? You think, well, everybody's doing it, so I might as well do it, and you don't properly understand the consequences of what you're doing. And for somebody who'd never engaged it before, they might end up doing it and not realizing it, and then having to pay the price afterwards. But if you're somebody who is like consistently violent, you already know that there is going to be ramifications down the line, so you have no excuse. You have absolutely no excuse. Like the fucking kid walking into Greg's and running out with a tray of steak bakes. Like, I'm sure he thinks that that no one was going to find out, or that no one was going to care. But he'll have a rude awakening in the morning. Whereas this guy, he clearly has had enough experience to understand what's right and what's wrong in the situation.
Yeah, I've got no problem. And if we're going to set fucking public nuisance at 5 years, Jesus Christ, that's the wank of it, isn't it? It's that you have such petty bullshit getting such big fucking sentences, and this guy, the maximum we can give him is 4 years. That's the maximum he can get for being a repeat offender doing violent crimes. The fuck? You can go to jail for that long for fucking avoiding tax. What?
I mean, only avoiding tax if your income is below £40,000 a year.
Exactly.
If you're a millionaire or a billionaire, you can avoid tax and you'll get praised as fucking Time magazine.
Yeah, you'll get a fucking seat in the Lords. Yeah.
Yeah, true, especially in the UK.
And this combination of factors takes the sentence, in my judgment, to the top of the relevant bracket. Dealing next with you, William Nelson Morgan. You are 69 years of age now.
Nice!
But your advancing years plainly did not prevent you from playing an active part at the disturbance on County Road.
You are nearly 70. Why are you doing riots? What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ!
It did seem like a lot of the people here were between the ages of 40 and 60.
Well, but we're talking like there's a lot more difference between 60 and 70 than like 30 and 40.
That's true.
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
Very true.
Like, you are getting
Yeah.
very close to the average age of death now. Like, chill the fuck out a bit, bruv. Jesus. Anyway. No, I know he's not nice. He mentioned the word 69, so obviously I'm going to say nice. It's the internet. It's the fucking law.
Well, I mean, the age groups of 40 to 60 are going to be the ones very specifically who are going to be ripe for radicalization. It's exactly what I've been said about before about all the World Economic Forum stuff. Those people who didn't really get born into online media literacy specifically because they didn't grow up with the internet like millennials did. And on top of that, they're the group of people who were most likely to be mortgage holders during the Liz Truss moments, most likely to be the ones at the wrong end of interest rate hikes. So, and also the people who were the children of the Thatcher years, who were grown up thinking there would be a boom economy forever,
Yeah.
and they were born into the Gilded Era only to see the financial crisis shut all that shit down. But without having but because they had what was good beforehand rather than what was bad afterwards, they can't diagnose the problem as being capitalism.
Yeah.
They can only diagnose the problem as being a fifth column, because that's how liberals think all social problems happen. It's through bad actors inputting bad data rather than bad algorithms using whatever data happens to be around.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Damn girl, I've just got that name again for the millionth fucking time. Anyway, the Crown Court brackets recording and broadcasting close brackets order 2020 allowed for filming sentencing hearings in Crown Court for the first time, and following delays due to COVID was implemented in 2022. So for anyone wondering, yes, it's a very new thing that's happening here. It's legal history.
You were a part of a crowd of about 100 people who were running amok, setting fire to bins and damaging local property.
Oh no, not the
including
bins!
A community hub and library which contained a food bank and provided an important resource for the people living in that area.
But they were doing it to help the kids. They wanted to help the people of Britain by starving them and destroying citizens' advice bureaus and stuff, and burning down fucking libraries. That's how you help people, apparently.
Yeah, we want the people of Tamworth want their hotel back, which is why they're going to burn it to the ground.
Well, from ashes it rose, and from ashes it returns. To get ridiculous and biblical. Let's go.
That library and hub based at Spellow Lane. The crowd threw bricks that night and bottles, and bins were set on fire, and they too were hurled at the...
Alright, mate, you've mentioned the bins. Yeah, we get it. Fucking hell.
Defending police officers. As those officers were trying to regain control, you were seen at the front of the mob, holding in your hand a wooden cosh, a small...
Jesus Christ! Imagine his fucking lawyer. Imagine his barrister having to look. Just plead guilty, mate. There's no point me even being here. You were pictured with a cosh. Fucking. Why not literally just write the words "I am fucking guilty" on your forehead? Like, it's amazing.
which you plainly had with you to use as a weapon.
No, it could have been for perfectly good civilian reasons that he was holding that truncheon.
No, I'm just off to a amateur dramatics performance.
Exactly.
Where I'm playing a police officer. How dare you make such insinuations of me?
Exactly. Good day to you, sir. I said good day.
When officers tried to arrest you, you resisted with such force that it took 3 of them to detain you. And later, when asked about the koch, you said, remarkably, that you had taken it with you that night for your own protection.
I love bad criminal excuses. Yeah, it was the self-defense kosh. What are you doing? Sorry, it's not funny. It's actually not funny, except it's very funny. Oh God.
For the same reasons as your co-accused, I am satisfied that this is Category B1 offending. There is no suggestion that the incidents in Walton were racially or religiously aggravated, and there may not have been as many people present. But there was looting of commercial premises. There was the wanton attempt to destroy by fire the local library and community hub, and many, many more fireworks were thrown at the police. In your case, there is the serious aggravating factor that you were in possession of a weapon.
So a kosh is a billy. Oh yeah, I suppose for Americans, it's like a police truncheon. It's basically a big bit of, well, not a big, but like a relatively solid bit of wood or metal that you use to hit people in the head to incapacitate them. Yeah.
It's where the phrase "under the cosh" comes from.
Indeed.
But the kosh, which I am sure you had with you,
And it's realistically not a weapon of self-defense, except I suppose, I mean, it can be used. Like, I mean, anything can be. A cricket bat can be used in self-defense, but like, it's not meant for that purpose, you know.
No.
used to cause injury.
If you're somebody who's looking for self-defense, I mean, you probably would take pepper spray rather than something that's an offensive weapon.
Yeah, it's meant to like subdue an opponent. That's what I mean. They don't give them to police to use entirely in self-defense. Like the police carry a truncheon, you know.
Pause 1 second. Woody read in chat saying, "Let's all laugh at the poor white working class man who is being increasingly being outnumbered by brown people." Why the hell are you in this channel? Why do you watch this channel? First of all, you know that people aren't being outnumbered by brown people. That's fucking ridiculous. That's such a fucking stupid thing to say, right? White people are overwhelming like a supermajority of this country. I think it's like 77% of the country, or is it 80% of this country is white people?
Something like that. Yeah. Mass
majority,
yeah.
This idea that someone's being outnumbered by brown people is just patently untrue. It's completely nonsensical. Yeah, the cities are the places where people like brown people. Like in cities, first of all, even in every city in this country apart from I think London. London is the only city in this country where it's not majority white people. It's plurality white people, but not majority white people anymore. London is the only city I think where this is the case. And on top of that, these are all cities where people's opinions of migrants and opinions of people with different skin colors are the most. They're the most welcoming. Why do you think that the biggest anti-fascist demonstration was in fucking Walthamstow of all places?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are you doing fucking great replacement theory posting on my chat? I'm just getting fucking banned. Never come back to this channel.
82% of the population are white. 80, so more than 4 in 5, mate. Chill the fuck out, bruv. Anyway, again, they're victim playing twats, and we'll see that more. I've got more sort of clips from last night's festivities, if you will. The right wing love whinging. They want to play the victim as soon as they can. You were stood there next to a burning fucking vehicle, mate, and then when he gets arrested, I'm fucking 70. So? Does the law not apply to you after a certain age? You were doing violent crime, mate. Yeah, you get arrested. The fuck? I'm 70. Well, enjoy your sunset years behind bars, you dopey fuck. Yeah, and you know what? I will laugh at wankers. I don't give a fuck what background you're from. If you're a wanker, I will laugh at you. Fuck you. You don't get a pass because you're working class. It's not how it fucking works.
Exactly, like saying, "Oh, are we laughing at him because he's working class and angry at brown people?" I wouldn't laugh at people for being racist. I think people racist are fucking subhuman, right? That's how I treat racist people who are getting mad at seeing brown faces around them. But what I will not do, I will laugh at people who will get fucking arrested for being idiots, right? If you get arrested for doing stupid shit, right? Doesn't matter what class you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was doing 70 in a built-up area. See, that's funny, mate. I don't give a fuck how racist you want to be. That's a funny line. Come on now. Anyway, yeah.
If the opportunity should arise, it was visible when you were confronting the officers at a time when there was serious public disorder. That factor, together with the other aggravating factors, again justifies a very significant upward adjustment from the starting point.
I'll pause for a second again. Sorry. It's mad to accuse me of doing that, considering I've been calling out people being classist with the education lib posting. Well, exactly, 07 Rise, yeah. You're absolutely right. calling out the classism you've been seeing from liberal types a lot all over this, and
True.
specifically talking about the
Can you-
ringleaders of this not being from those
If
class backgrounds.
if you've got a rant to go on or something, because I need a piss, so you can rant or shill.
I mean,
for
I'll
like a minute.
definitely like talk with chat. If you
Yeah.
want to go for a
Okay,
piss,
1 second.
Chris, briefly.
Yeah.
But and again, because I mean, with the people, I mean, I've seen people talk about like Woody Red being in chat. I've seen them in chat before. You know what? We had disagreements on immigration, and I stated my case whatsoever. But you come here and saying, "Oh well, people are just mad about seeing brown people," then you're okay with racism. I'm sorry. If people are just getting mad about seeing brown people, then you're just okay with racism. That's it. Why should it matter the color of the faces that people fucking see? Right? Why should it matter? What the hell should it matter? Like, I'm perfectly willing for people to come here and saying, I disagree with immigration for X, Y, Z reason, because I think that it might have impacts on infrastructure or whatever it might be, right? And I will state my case in response, and we can agree to disagree or whatever it is. But once you come around here and start saying, "Oh, why are you just laughing at a working class man for being because he's sad about the fact that he hates seeing brown people," no, I'm sorry, you're just a fucking apologist for racism at this point. I don't tolerate racism from any class of people, and it is not being classist of me to denigrate somebody if they happen to be of the identity group, right? And this is some fucking liberal identity politics shit. Saying, "Oh well, you can't call working class people racist." No, that's just idpol, but for fucking right wingers. At the end of the day, it's just identity politics to say we can't criticize working class people for doing bad shit. Right? But I'm not criticizing them on class lines. I'm not the one out here and saying all the people rioting are uneducated or stupid. I'm not the one saying that at all. In
Yeah.
fact, I explicitly said that you can't say this because all of those same communities that have been destroyed by Thatcherism, by neoliberalism, by deindustrialization, all of these like globalization, for example, all of these different myriad factors that have gone into the economic deprivation of the kind of communities where we saw unrest over the last couple of weeks, right? The same people, you're the same groups and demographics of people that you're denigrating for being stupid are the same people who are out on the streets cleaning up after the racists, right?
Yep.
They're all subject to the same sets of material conditions, right? Whilst one might get radicalized towards racism by people trying to blame immigrants, there are other people there who may have had different backgrounds or different interactions with different messages that have made them blame the right people, which is the rich or the Thatcherites or the neoliberals or whatever, the corporations, for example. And just because they've interacted with different media doesn't make them better or worse people.
Yeah.
It makes their opinions better or worse, but doesn't make them individually worse people. So by denigrating the community at large, you're trying to say, well, you lost your job because your area has been economically deprived, and you're all just the same. You're all just uneducated people, but one of you is racist and one of you isn't,
Yeah.
right? If you want to criticize racism, criticize it on the merits of the racism rather than what you think it is about a certain community or demographic that makes somebody racist. And again, one last point on this is that this is a community thing. It's not a class thing, it's a community thing. You look at the places where Reform UK have its biggest voter numbers. It's in red wall seats in the north of England, it's in Wales, and it's in it's in coastal towns. What's unique about all of these places? They're all fucking dead. They're all fucking ghost towns because of Thatcher, right? Thatcher is the reason why all these places are ghost towns. That's why they have no jobs, and they've been allowed to get propagandized to people that their jobs have been stolen by immigrants. And that isn't true. They've been stolen by China and Taiwan and by Bangladesh and Indonesia, because that's where all of the capitalists took the jobs to, because they had cheap labor. So they haven't actively stolen, at least countries haven't actively stolen it, but that's where those jobs went to, right? The jobs are still in the economics. Macroeconomics works as such, as if there's a demand, a job will be created in the economy, right? There are plenty of jobs in this country, but the issue is they aren't evenly distributed community to community, because neoliberalism just says, well, the market has decided all the jobs are best off being in Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, Birmingham, wherever it might be, London, as these big cities, as people have moved there. And so these left behind towns without a coordinated effort by state planning of policy to get jobs into these areas, to use the levers of economics, of government power to move jobs into these left behind communities, they've just rotted. Right? They could move out of their community and go to London and get a better job if they wanted to, or to get a job if they're somebody who can't find one in their ruined community. But they don't want to do that because that's where they've lived, that's where they've grown up.
Yep.
And that's the problem.
Indeed. Also, just as an addendum to the point of it not being classism, we literally started this bit by taking the piss out of a woman in a £1.5 million house. So, like, are we being classist against her too? Or something? Or maybe is it, actually, I'm a universal despiser of racist, violent scum?
Yeah, but there's plenty of poor areas of this country where there haven't been riots in the past couple of weeks. It's not really economic grievances, it's racism and xenophobia. The racism and xenophobia is what's driving what we're seeing here, but the conditions for radicalization have economic roots in them as well, right? Whether it can be somebody who's been completely deprived, as we see in these areas with high levels of Reform UK support, but also in terms of a lot of other people who come from more kind of middle class backgrounds or from more affluent backgrounds who have seen a post 2008 depletion of their assets as they've been gobbled up by more and more of the super corporations, right? But people who have legitimate economic grievances are more likely to get radicalized towards easy solutions, right? Easy rather than the complex answer, which is all that economic strategy stuff I talked earlier. That's really difficult to explain to people. Saying that it's migrants or it's George Soros or it's the World Economic Forum or it's the globalists or if it's critical race theory or whatever kind of boogeyman that you want to throw in the air to place all the blame on, they will find that person to blame. I mean, the posher areas where you're seeing a lot of this kind of economic anxiety about lack of status because of the impact of economics post 2008, they're not out there doing they're not out there radicalized. I mean, they are anti-migrant, but they're not out there doing like riots and stuff. But these are the people who are getting mad at like 15-minute cities saying, oh, well, the government's trying to introduce central bank digital currencies and all that kind of bullshit to try and stop us from being free and taking away our freedoms, right? There's loads of disparate groups of people who are getting drawn together for this.
Yeah. Indeed, I think we've spent quite enough time on that one reactionary and their nonsense. I think we move forth.
Yeah. Yes, quite.
Thank you, Mr. Giggles, for resubscribing. Oh, sorry, subscribing. New subscriber with Prime. Much love. Yes, let's get through the last couple of minutes of this bloviating twat. Let's go.
Factor of that weapon, in my judgment, takes your offending beyond the top of that relevant bracket. Because I am taking the weapon offence into account in that way, the sentence for that offence will be ordered to run concurrently rather than consecutively, as might otherwise have been the case. In terms of mitigation, you have no previous convictions at all, and it is very sad indeed to see someone of your age and character in the dock of a Crown Court. That good character is something which I must reflect to some extent in terms of assessing the overall sentence, and the sentence I will pass will reflect it, but the weight to be attached to such mitigation can only be limited given the need in all of these cases for appropriate punishment and deterrence. I impose in both your cases the statutory surcharge in whatever is the appropriate amount, and I make a collection order. The sentences that I am about to impose have been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your pleas of guilty, and you will both serve up to 1/2 of those sentences in custody before you are released on licence. If you fail to abide by the conditions of your licences, you can be returned to serve some or all of the remainder of those sentences. Will you both now stand up? In your case, John O'Malley, for the offence of violent disorder, the sentence is 32 months imprisonment. In your case, William Nelson Morgan, for the offence of violent disorder, the sentence is also 32 months imprisonment. That sentence intended to reflect that offence and the associated offence of possessing an offensive weapon. For the associated offence, there will be a concurrent sentence of 6 months imprisonment, reflecting, as I have, the principle of totality. The total sentence is therefore one of 32 months imprisonment in your case. Because of your possession of the weapon, I am also satisfied that it is necessary to make a serious violence reduction order to protect the public from future harm. It will last for a period of 2 years and will not take effect until you are released from custody. Those are the sentences of this court. You may now both go with the officers.
Enjoy, lads. You fucking earned it, you daft cunts. Yes, to whoever it was who asked in chat, these are the race rioters. We just saw 2 of them sentenced, which is rather a novelty in Britain because cameras were never used to be allowed in courts, but now they are. What is this? Oh, you know, we looked at that. Yeah, I'm fucking 70. Amazing. Amazing show. Okie doke. Okie doke. Where were we? So, I suppose on the politics of this, we talked briefly, didn't we, about... oh, sorry, I forget. Any wrap-up thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
You can just
chat
say
shit,
no.
get banged.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, chat shit, get banged. I just wanted to wrap up other things I was talking about before. So that's why I specified in my points I was making before that it was community based rather than class based, right? You can be from plenty of different classes, but if you're from a community that has died because money has been taken out of it, because all of the economic activity has gone, it doesn't matter how personally wealthy that you are, if your area gets fucking destroyed, you're gonna want to find somebody to blame, right?
Yeah. Indeed. Lesbian hot sauce with the very opposite question: why no terrorism charges? Firstly, that wouldn't be tried at that court. The terrorism charge would have to be tried, I believe, at the High Court because it's a terrorism charge, so it comes under the jurisdiction of the Met, and therefore it's like a national offence, as it were. Not that we have a strictly federal system, but you know how it works. Like if it's a bigger case, it goes to the courts in London. And secondly, there's no way they would charge and bring the case this quickly if it's terrorism. So it could be that at some point further down the line they do. And I hope they do, although I suspect they probably won't because they're pretty feckless, unfortunately. Especially when it comes to white people, they can't do terrorism naturally. But if they do, that would take at least a year before you ever see anything about it, because terrorism cases are much more in depth. It's easy to prove some prick stood there with a kosh. It's less easy to say they conspired to do terrorism, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So, Robert Jenrick, one of the candidates to take over the poison chalice of hatred that is the Conservative Party, deciding that he's not going to do the Priti Patel thing and try and row back from the edge, but just go full steam, go Bonnie and Clyde, not Bonnie and Clyde, fuck's sake, what's it called? Thelma and Louise. There we go. Drive straight off the fucking cliff. Anyway, apparently, did you know it's bad to celebrate God? That should be illegal now, apparently.
Is two-tier policing have any application in the last 8 or 9 days?
Well, I have been very critical of the police in the past, particularly around the attitude of some police forces to the protests that we saw since October the 7th. You know, I thought it was quite wrong that somebody could shout
What about the
Allah
last 8 or 9
Akbar
days?
on the streets of London and not be immediately arrested or...
Excuse me, what? That you want them saying God is great in the street to be an offence upon which you would be physically detained by the police.
And also, it's Allahu Akbar, not Allah Akbar.
I know, but he's a
Again,
racist
show-
twat. We know what he
yeah,
means, but yeah.
Cambridge education, guys, just what it gets you.
Exactly.
Private, expensive 5-figure private school education plus Cambridge education.
Yeah.
Don't know basic phrase.
Yeah. Especially don't know basic phrase that they want to make illegal. Because I reckon a good lawyer might be able to pick that little thing apart, you twat. Anyway, the point being, or a couple of points on it. Firstly, go fuck yourself. Literally go fuck yourself. Freedom of religion is a massively important thing. I myself, not a religious person, but if you come for any of my religious brothers and sisters and NBs, I will fuck you up. Metaphorically.
True.
Okay? Don't fucking start with that shit. They're allowed to be a Muslim, they're allowed to be a Christian, they're allowed to be Jewish, Buddhist, whatever the fuck they want to be. And you don't get to fucking arrest them for it, you absolute wanker. Secondly, you are a Christian, Mr. Jenrick. You may be enlightened to know that when they say Allahu Akbar, that's just Arabic for God is great.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It just means God is great.
victory is ours.
And that the God that they are extolling the virtues of in that phrase is literally the same God that you consider to be God. It is the God of Abraham, you ignorant prick.
Literally, Palestinian Christians, for example, will say Allahu Akbar because that's just God is great in Arabic. Like literally, there are plenty of Christians in the Arab world who will use that phrase in a Christian context. It's incredible. It shows you when someone's getting mad at us yesterday for talking about Islam as a religion rather than as a race, but the racialized nature of Islam means that you can say something that it isn't even necessarily specifically Islamic because it belongs to Arabic Christians as well.
Yeah.
and it will be perceived as being a terror phrase. Basically, that's what he thinks it is, because
Yeah.
people have said that before, blowing themselves up as in a suicide bombing, for example. At least, I mean, I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I've just seen it in media because that's my connection to. I've never been around a suicide bombing, hence why I'm here to tell you the tale.
See, now,
But,
again, I'm now suspicious because I'd never considered you had been around a suicide bombing. But now you've said that, now I'm thinking, well, how do I know she hasn't been around a suicide bombing? Why would she say? That's a very weird thing to come out and say. Suspicious. Continue.
Yeah, but it's just like but they're so Islam as a religion is so racialized that you'll get mad at Arabic as a language just because it's associated with Islam.
Yep.
Even when it's something that is related to Christian faith in the region too.
Yeah, and of course, again, it's so racialised that when I say Muslim, you'll think instantly of a brown person. But of course,
Yep.
there are black Muslims, lots of them in sub-Saharan Africa, for instance. There are lots of white Muslims in parts of southeastern Europe. Although whether the racists would consider them to be white is another factor.
Well,
And
there's a whole ass white Muslim country in South Europe.
Albania or Bosnia.
I mean, just true. Albania and Bosnia.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
Bosnia, they have like
They have
like-
the and Herzegovina. Yes.
yeah, they have like the Serb Bosniak in like Christian
Well,
community
to put
there
it
as well.
to
but-
put it mildly, it's complicated. It
yeah,
is.
even so, like there are whole ass communities of white Muslims in I mean, Albania is explicitly a white Muslim country,
Indeed.
European Muslim country. Yeah.
Indeed. So yeah, Robert Jenrick, wanker.
Project genocidal chants onto Big Ben. And
Oh,
Jen-
actually, this is a funny one. This is a funny thing. Jenrick is so posh. His house is a blue link on Wikipedia. Not just parents, mate. He's gone way above parents' blue names on Wikipedia. His house is a blue name on Wikipedia.
His house is
That's how posh he
famous
is.
enough to have a Wikipedia page. That's mental. But anyway, yeah. Apparently, it's genocidal to say from the river to the sea. Someone tell the Cood quickly.
True, yeah, literally. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating that literally no one from our media, when having this discussion over from the river to the sea, at no point has talked about the Liquid Party charter.
Yeah, exactly. Mental.
And again, and people say, well, okay, well, if it's genocidal in that context, then it must be in the context of the Palestinians. I'm like, only one of these groups wants an ethno-state. Only one of these will refuse admittance of people from the wrong ethnic background on the explicitly because it would undermine the ethnic character of our nation state, right? Only one group is saying that. It's not the Palestinians, mate. Like
true.
the fact that after everything, after all of the heinous shit that Hamas have done,
Yes.
over however many years, all the suicide bombings and the terror attacks, whatever it might be, right? After all of this, Osama Hamdan, this was in he's one of the members of the Politburo. He's been interviewed on Channel 4 and by Malcolm on Hill. In an Arabic language interview that I watched translated on Memory specifically, which is a pro-Israel Western Front organization trying to pick specific bits apart to make Palestinians look as bad as possible as like a propaganda thing. They'll translate certain things but not other things, right? This was translated in an interview as saying, in the future unitary Palestinian state, we welcome Jews to come live with us. We do not want to get rid of Jewish people. We just want to get rid of the Zionist entity or whatever. We'll live aside them like as a non-Zionists, just like we lived beside them before 1948 or whatever. And I'm like, this is an so it wasn't Western propaganda. It wasn't. I mean, because Hamas do this. Hamas are very well known for taking one position when speaking with the West and another position when speaking with people within the Palestinian community, for example. But this was an Arabic language interview taken in Lebanon, which is where he lives in Beirut, and he was saying we don't want to get rid of Jewish people from the land of Palestine when we create the unitary state of Palestine, right?
Yeah.
Yet they still think that from the river to the sea means getting rid of the Jewish people, even though the man who belongs to the people who did fucking October 7th said that it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And yet, the one reason why there is no Palestinian state at this point is because Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party want the entire control of what they believe is historic Judea and Samaria. They believe it's their ethnic right to have it, and to maintain the ethno-state, they must necessarily ethnically cleanse all of the Palestinians from that area, or at the very least, keep them corralled into Bantustans that are not necessarily part of Israel proper, but have no nation state of their own, which is the apartheid state referred to in the ICJ ruling, right? This is why it's so very frustrating that we talk about from the river to the sea, because it's so obvious as to why in both contexts one of them is fine and one of them isn't. But we try and equivocate between them. Even on people on the left will try and equivocate between them.
Well, I apologise for that outbreak of Corbynism on the timeline.
True.
It's outrageous.
And that person not be immediately arrested. That attitude is wrong, and I'll always call out the police for it.
He's two-tier.
So there you go, Robert Jenrick, religious extremist. So possibly shoe in to become leader of the Tory party, who knows? We'll wait and see on that point. Stan Collymore, Villa bastard, but his timeline was just a
You're a
cavalcade.
City fan.
I unfortunately, for my many sins, this fucking weekend's the season begins on Saturday, and I'm fucking dreading it. Anyway, even though it should be a good year, but that's why I'm dreading it, because it won't be. His timeline was just amazing. You go and check out his shit on Twitter. If you're still on Twitter, which you probably shouldn't be, because it's shit. But anyway, he had some... He was tweeting out every fucker. It was amazing. Not relevant to anything, but considering how transphobic he is, that tuck is impeccable. Well done, Andrew Tate, on having no cock and balls. Not relevant to anything, but there we go. Oh yeah, this was fucking mad. Did you see the chainsaw prick in Manchester?
I didn't see that. Can we even watch that on stream?
Yes, technically no one gets injured, so it's, I think, fine. Anyway, Muslim couple at a garage in Manchester. Guy jumps out with a fucking chainsaw and starts chasing them. Absolutely fucking mental, right?
That's like out of a video game.
It really is. But we've been made aware of a circulating blah blah blah. Last night we arrested a man in his 30s on suspicion of a fray. He remains in police custody. So he's going to jail. He's going to jail for a long time. And good. Fuck him. Dickheads, man. They're fucking everywhere. Just Stop Oil. I'd be interested to hear your take on this. Just Stop Oil are pausing their actions across the UK during the riot season, as it were. Thoughts?
I mean, I guess if you have activists who are doing things, they're far more useful to be on the streets defending the streets from the far right than they are standing in the middle of the road.
Yeah. I think I'm fine with that. I think I'd much rather us, as a collective left movement, defend our people right now than like try and jump on a snooker table and spread orange paint about the place. Like, there's a time and place. Read the room. They read the room. Good on them. That's fine.
Sorry, someone to describe the person. They weren't chasing them. They weren't chasing the Muslims. They were just doing emergency topiary.
Exactly. They're like, come back! Come back! Your hedges are in a state! No! There's a person who cares about pruning bushes.
Delman chat pointing out the ironic punishment would have to be getting him to trim hedges in hell.
Yeah, well, fuck it. I mean, he has to go to jail, but also if you wanted to tack on some community sentence when he gets out, yeah, get him to fucking trim, cut grass or some shit. I don't know, or at least touch some fucking.
Yeah, I couldn't find my kosh, so I picked up the nearest thing to hand.
Yeah, why did he have that on him? Why was that in his fucking car? It's just a weird thing. Anyway, mad shit. Oh yeah, so we played this, didn't we, the other day? The black lad getting a few clumps, but sticking with it. God bless him. These 4 dickheads have been arrested for it. Good. Fuck you, lads. Enjoy your stint in the Nick. You absolute fucking melters. Look at them. A foursome of thumbs. Fucking knobs.
I mean, yeah, Kazuko in chat points out correctly. We always used to wonder how the great events of the past happened. This year's, I've realised just how mundane it must have been. I've just seen a modern pogrom and the government barely comment. I know it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's absolutely
mental.
crazy to think about. There were probably people in, like, rural parts of Russia in 1917 who hadn't realised there'd been a revolution. Just like, oh, okay, that's happened.
Well, yeah.
Even without social media, right? Here, we have it broadcast on social media for everybody to see. Like attempted lynchings, and everyone's just like, far right thuggery. We're seeing far right thuggery. It was pogroms, mate. Comment on the whole fucking
Yeah.
like attempted assassinations, please.
Yeah. Up until like the mass communication of the last 150 years, most people wouldn't have known shit. Do you think your average like peasant in ancient Rome knew who the fucking emperor was from week to week? I don't fucking,
Yeah.
because it makes no difference to their lives. They've just got to get on with shit, you know. Yeah. Also, yeah, Sean Holt does a little bit pronouns. He does.
Fucking pronouns. Would you have an emote? Let's see the pronouns emote now.
Pronouns. Let's go. Oh yeah. So you know they're protecting the kids. They want to protect the kids, right?
Well, I can't get a job. They come to this country and they just get a job just like that.
So when
Anyway, I wonder why this guy can't get a job. Oh, that's right, because he repeatedly molested a 7-year-old girl.
As you do.
So these are definitely the people who are protecting the kids. These lads, the Tommy Robinson supporters, big on the old protecting of the kids. This one's from America, so not really relevant, but I wonder why the Republicans are having a hard time winning people over.
Would you mind being in a video?
I'm filming, so I guess so.
What are your thoughts on Donald Trump?
I think that he's a criminal. Probably shouldn't be running for president.
I think you're a fucking bitch. Would you mind?
What? You went up to her? What the fuck? Just you absolute fucking knobs. Like that's just being rude to someone. What the fuck are you doing?
Like I swear down. Just like Trump supporters, they just have people who've just never had. They've forgotten how social skills work. They've just forgotten how to live as part of society.
Well, because they think it's like the internet. But the thing is, on the internet you can get away with calling someone a bitch. But like you're lucky that she wasn't with someone. Because like I know people who'd cut you up for that shit. You don't fucking act that way.
I'm surprised she's not fucking slapped him.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, again, yeah, literally, I mean, what Richard Spencer said in that fated interview, said, like, we memed Trump into existence. I'm like, is this, like, a 90%, probably almost all of his fan base, just full of people whose brains have been broken by the internet?
Yeah. I mean, they just, yeah, you can't, imagine acting that way. Like, you are not going to reach retirement, my man. You are going to get done in. You can't act like that in public. It's ridiculous. Oh, this was nice. So this was from yesterday's in Brighton. I don't think Brighton's going to fall to the fash anytime soon, considering there were 4 of them compared to like thousands. Like everyone, imagine trying to do fascism in Brighton of all places. Brighton's so gay it made ABBA famous. Like, come on now, Jesus. Absolutely mad shit. So that was nice. Where the fuck's West Street in Old Market? I don't know where that is. I bookmarked a lot of shit, not really fully understanding what was going on. I was just like, bookmark everything, and we'll see. Anyway, so people turned up. That was nice. North London. That's Walthamstow, I believe.
It was gigantic, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, as far as the eye can see, basically, all the way down that street. That is a lot of fucking people. Yeah, look at that aerial shot. That's fucking beautiful. That's a lot of people.
Thank you, Belvar P, for the gifted sub. Thank you.
Who are these melters and what are they saying?
I don't care what crew you are, just don't make me
That's funny, is it? Why are you laughing at that? Yeah, anyway, yeah, 83% of defendants for that type of offence were white British.
And I think so. It's like the incidence rate per capita is slightly higher for ethnic minorities, I think, but it's basically within like the tolerance threshold, really and truly.
Yeah. What's this? Pub goers interacting in Accrington.
North London was Finchley as well.
Oh, Finchley. There you go. Ah, lovely stuff.
That's lovely stuff.
I like Accrington because to nickname a football club Stanley is just funny.
That's true.
That's
It
just
is
lovely.
true. It's really. It's so quintessentially British. It makes you honestly like you'd never get that in any other country.
Yeah, what team do you support? Stanley. that just sounds like a lovely old man. Okay. Have you been to Accrington? That's in Accrington, Stanley. Yeah, we saw the Daily Mail. Fucking melters. Like, who cares?
Also, Daily Mail coming out in support of hormone replacement therapy.
Well, that's nice. I saw that the Sun seemed to have gotten sick of J.K. Rowling's shit. They were calling her out, basically saying, "Go touch some grass." Which is fair
did you see the
enough.
tweet that she put out where she was just like, people are putting images of masculine women into my comments, saying, trying to prove me wrong, but that's like offering me different shapes of potatoes to tell me that rocks aren't edible. And I'm like, excuse me, what the fuck, Joanne? What the hell are
Honestly,
you talking about?
I think the mold has got. She's literally, her brain is mostly mold at this point. I think that's the only answer. She's been living in a mouldy old castle, and she's turned into a fucking melter. Anyway,
she's legitimately gone insane.
Yeah.
Again, just another person who didn't grow up with the internet, who went on the internet during lockdown and has lost her fucking mind.
and it's a shame to see how quickly it can go. Like, did you see Nicola Adams, the boxer, who's now like retweeting Andy No shit? The fuck are you? What? I thought she was
It's almost
awesome back
like-
in the day.
It's almost like the anti-trans stuff was meant to be a pipeline to get people into the right wing, deliberately so and orchestrated as such,
Yeah.
so that people could start openly expressing bigoted views, and there would be a group of people there to welcome them in.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be weird if that was the case, and if there were, I know, groups that were registered at 55 Tufton Street who had explicitly their stigmatization for doing so? Wouldn't that be really crazy, Joe? That'd be really weird if that was the case.
Moldemort is a lovely name. Love it.
Voldemort.
True. I can remember this guy used to be on TV, didn't I? Anyway,
It was the revolution will be televised.
that's the one. Yeah. When BBC
So
Three.
while
was a
the thing is, yeah, well, Julian Rubinstein has become kind of like a left liberal type.
Oh, has I?
No, he's fine. Like, yeah, I think he's
Okay.
fine. He's usually pretty left. His bits on the revolution will be televised are pretty funny. Like his Dale Maley skit, I thought was quite funny. But his friend who used to do this with him is now a fucking spiked GB News type grifter person,
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame.
trying to get into the anti-woke comedy sphere.
Oh,
But
no.
it's very extremely unfunny.
Well, they all are. Anyone who goes down that path, it becomes unfunny because that's all they talk about. Like, did you see Joe Rogan's bit? Some comedy special he's done, and it's just the same shtick. Wow, woke people, am I right? And that's it. That's all he's fucking saying. That's not funny. It's just not. You can do like anti-woke humor. People have been doing fucking racist humor forever. Like, it's a thing. But you have to actually be funny. And these people are so brain broken by the entire grift that that's all they talk about. They become Dave Rubin. Yeah.
No, I'm not having it. I'm not fucking having it. Nigel Farage says that it couldn't be further from the truth, that he is partly at least responsible for these riots. Do you remember the breaking point poster, Nigel?
I do.
Do you remember that? When you stood in front of a poster full of people that you claimed were immigrants trying to get into Europe, when there were no such thing. Do you remember when you got on the boat and started pointing towards people, desperate people, trying to find a more secure, safe place from their family, and thought and issued continuous statements questioning whether they could be deeply violent rapist thugs coming across this country? Do you remember when you moved precisely and absolutely with deep consideration the entire political debate towards a deeply vile, absolute othering of people of colour coming from desperate war-torn countries, most of which we had actually bombed ourselves, and claimed...
True. And then went round to the hotels and was like, well, maybe they're in ISIS. Really, Nige? Maybe you're in ISIS. I don't know. Like, maybe you drink dog cum. I don't know. Like, we can all fucking ask questions, you prick. Like, you think you're fucking slick with it. Your game is painfully, blatantly obvious.
That these people were coming for the jobs and to take the safety away from desperate British people. Do you remember when, on speech after speech, during the Brexit campaign, you claimed that the only way to deal with our problems was by dealing with what you called uncontrolled migration? When you stood on the beaches of Kent, literally issuing dog whistle after dog whistle. Do you remember that? Because it seems to me that what you're saying now is that you're some victim of some deep state conspiracy, because we've got the receipts of things that you have said and that you have actively promoted. And let's be honest, you've been deeply successful doing it. You have moved the Overton window of debate.
Who said, is this Jack Grealish? Of course it isn't. Look, this guy's sober, so it's obviously not Jack Grealish. What are you talking about?
So far to the right in this country that people have forgotten what you are. People have forgotten.
He went to my school.
That you, as a...
Did you know that? He went to the same high school as I did, Jack Grealish.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No.
little fact. He's a little younger than I am. We didn't cross paths at any point, but you know.
Public school boy who worked in the city.
And Karen Carney, she was in my year at school. Yeah, little fact. We weren't good at football or anything, but.
Who pointed at a graph of the pound crashing during Brexit, who deeply and utterly fascinated by Vladimir Putin, have consistently ignored the elephant in the room, which is that the banking crisis, a crisis of your former colleagues who were bailed out trillions, who you fundamentally support, talking about the privatisation of the NHS, talking about deregulation on the biggest financial institutions, and whose newspapers you will get down and open your mouth for, because you know that it's those non-dom proprietors who are pushing these messages of deeply othering hatred towards ethnic communities, so we don't look up and say, oh my God, isn't it weird that they've got all the money? Isn't it weird that we're not regulating them? Nigel Farage.
Now, I agree with a lot of what he has to say here, right? I think it's basically on point. But don't think it's just Nigel Farage. Like, don't let this just be let them use Nigel Farage as their kind of sacrificial lamb. The media, for puffing this guy up, for giving this guy the shine for fucking 25 years, are to blame as well. Did he need a fucking season ticket for Question Time when he had no MPs and had lost election after election after election?
A couple of MEPs. He was MEP though. What was that?
Well, no,
that means something.
Oh, well, it does mean something, which means maybe he gets one show a year. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There were dozens of other.
Was an MEP. Was she ever on Question
Exactly.
Time?
We had, over the course of his time, we had dozens and dozens of people who were MEPs who didn't get a fucking sniff. And they were represented by major parties that got millions and millions of votes. But they never got a fucking look in. You know?
Yep.
You are at the core of the sickness of this country. And we all have the receipts.
True, but also take acting lessons. It's a bit hammy, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bless him. Oh, yeah, we go. Succulent Chinese meal guy died. What's his name? Jack Carlson. God bless him. The absolute delight. Get your hands off my penis! Absolute lunatic. Love it. RIPs, everyone. Where the fuck is Westcliff? Do we know where Westcliff is? Don't know. Anyway. Oh fuck. In his honour, we'll play the thing.
Absolutely.
Just a moment. You just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what?
I'm under what?
What the fuck is this? I'm not having.
Give us the fucking clip.
I'm not having someone vamping over our man. That's no. We're not having this bollocks. I wouldn't have fucking bookmarked that if I'd known. If I type in democracy manifest, will it come up? It's got to.
Surely it must.
Yes, first fucking result. Let's go. Right, where are we? Boom.
Just a moment. You just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before. Why did you do this to me? Up in the car. Get some cups. For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Get your hands. Ta-ta and farewell. One cup, look. Slave and broke.
Are you prepared to receive my limp penis? Oh, it gets better and better.
It really does.
Honestly.
It really does. We stan.
We
We
do.
stan.
We do.
You
we
know
do.
we stan.
I've
been raided.
Succulent king. Yeah.
Who raided into YouTube? Hang a minute. It must have been a raid because there's a million people just jumped into it. Oh, it's Loner Box. Welcome in, Loner Box viewers. Please refresh your screens. And if you like the idea of talk about UK politics 6 days a week, then please subscribe. It's free. I'm here with Kevin Logan at KevLogan1875 over on Twitch, at Ploppy111 over on YouTube. Please go and drop a follow. Again, we talk. Kev talks about a lot of US politics when we're not doing streams together, but I speak about UK politics 6 days a week.
Indeed.
If that sounds interesting to you, please like the stream and subscribe. It is, of course, as I said, free to do so.
Yes, indeed, sir. Westcliff is apparently a suburb of Southend on Sea in Essex, which is a town I've been to, and is shite. Why did I bookmark that? I don't know.
Why have you bookmarked that?
I don't know.
Why have you bookmarked it?
Presumably for some sort of weird masturbatory thing, I imagine. I'm not sure. It's very
funny. It's funny though.
It is a funny image.
Just a weird mirror. Also, it looks like it's been digitally altered.
It has to be. His head's far too large.
Yeah, literally.
So it might be a real image that they've beefed the head up on or something. Or it's a different person. I don't know. But you can understand what struck me about the image and why I bookmarked. It's a think piece, this one. I'm not sure what, It's a conversation starter. This is Stella Creasy, a dickhead, right? When I say that Walthamstow is the house, is the house of love, believe me the first time. Thank you to everyone who came out and made this evening, blah, 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 blah. Except, of course, she'd said, don't go there. She literally said, avoid Walthamstow. Don't do it.
Because I think that most people really... I think... I can understand why people were saying, oh, it might lead to heightened tensions, which might literally cause the civil war, everyone's being threatening or whatever. And I'm like, but actually, no, really and truly, that we were never going to actually start bloody fighting people. We wanted to be a bulwark against this stuff.
Yeah.
And if anything, it made the police's job way easier. That most of the fascists just stayed home.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't bother turning up.
Exactly. What? This is such a liberal brain cancer. Yeah, don't go and take your streets back. Don't do that. Just let the fascists run wild. I'm sure the police will deal with it. The fuck are you talking about?
And if anything, right? Even if I think actually really the important thing about this was the optical win of being able to outnumber the people who could organise themselves to do pogroms and all the stuff that we've seen over the course of the last few days, right? Just to come out on the streets, all you've got is your anti-racism signs, you're doing your chants, or like if you're a Labour MP, do you see that the Labour councillor who's now been suspended?
We
and
will get to
arrested?
it. That was bookmarked as well, yeah.
That's bookmarked as well. But like broadly, just having loads of people out there together to say, not in our name, not in our communities, we oppose this, rather than just waiting for opinion polls, which no one fucking pays attention to, making your numbers known visibly for everybody to see.
Exactly.
It's good for deterring the fash, and on top of that, it's just a good thing broadly for everybody else watching. People are probably looking at their phones, been watching doom scrolling in despair, going, "What the hell has happened to my country?" And then they can look and say, "No, this is where our country actually resides. This is where our country really is."
Yeah, yesterday was a massive W after, let's be honest, a series of L's for several days, unfortunately. The anti-fascists reclaiming the streets of major urban conurbations across the country is just an unadulterated victory for all of Britain. Awesome. So don't listen to Stella Creasy. She's a fucking twat. Is the basic message on this one.
I mean, again, literally, if she'd have just said afterwards, "Okay, I was wrong. I see why you came out, and it's glad to see, and you proved me wrong." You know what? Fair enough, right? You made a calculation, you got it wrong, but now you're admitting that you were wrong, and you're glad to see that things went well, right? But don't just like act like you didn't say what you said before, like people don't keep receipts.
Yeah, well, it's literally like it's the Leonard Nimoy thing from Simpsons. Again, we're back to the lowbrow references now. No more fucking Shakespeare for tonight. My work here is done. You didn't do anything, didn't I? Except it's worse because she actively did, harm to that situation. She tried to stop people from going there. Like it's even worse. Not only did you not do anything, you actively worked in the opposite direction. You are shite. Anyway. Imagine that, a Labour MP being shit. Crazy. Tate and Farage are going at each other because Farage threw him under the bus.
What does that even mean? Selling out freedom fighters to appease the Matrix? What the fuck is he even saying? What does that mean?
I don't know.
I have literally no idea what that means.
Well, they don't seem to understand what words mean, because apparently Kamala Harris, as we now have to call her.
Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim.
Let's go! What a fucking train to be on. Apparently she's a communist, according to Elon Musk. So, it just goes to show you don't have to understand economics to become good at capitalism.
Well, that's the end. I mean, they kept saying, "Oh, we can't have Bernie Sanders as a candidate. The Republicans will call us communists." I'm like, did they just call you communists anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
And it turns out, right, they can. And what's interesting as well about American politics is that Biden can just adopt a bunch of Bernie Sanders policies, and they'll still view it as being like the normal candidate or whatever. And I'm just like, he literally had, because he was going to lose the election otherwise, he had to bring Sanders along, make him the head of the Senate Budget Committee, and get Stephanie Kelton to do his economic proposals for him.
Yep.
Right? As if there's things. Oh no, but there's no appetite in America for interventionist progressive policies. I'm like, well, look what fucking Tim Walz has been doing in Minnesota. People love that shit.
True, indeed, sir. So this is a nice reference to the 90s. So the fascists trying to sneak in as one of the Spice Girls. I really, really, really want a Zig Heil. Is a very nice pun, which I greatly appreciate. That is a lot of fun. Also it's funny, I'm surprised they haven't tried to say it was clearly trans, because look, they've tried to sneak in a bloke in a skirt. It's outrageous.
Yeah, absolutely. Next he'll be doing Olympic curling.
Exactly. You'll be beating up sweet, innocent, dainty Italian broads. Ah!
Somebody pointing out in chat, very funny, about Andrew Tate moaning about immigrants and then also fucking off to Romania.
And doing crime. He's the perfect example of immigrants doing crime, yeah. It's British people sending their fucking sex pests over here. It's an outrage.
Literally, it was the opposite. Everyone was getting mad about the idea that Romanians were going to come over here post Brexit, before Brexit happened, because they were being admitted to the European Union. Was that literally, it was from the Stuart Lee fucking bit about Romanians and Bulgarians. Like, that was like 10 million of them were going to come over. He just quoted the entire population of both countries together.
Yeah. Well, I remember
and
when...
it turns out we were going to be the ones going over to Romania and causing trouble.
Exactly, yeah. When Britain sends its people, it's not sending its best. Okay?
Yeah.
Bradford fell. A small roundabout has been partly taken by 7 dudes.
It's been occupied.
It's been occupied, but I quite like the phrase "the tragic roundabout." It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Oh, this lad again. Notice this shit, right? I told you, look with the guy saying, "I'm 70. I'm 70." They love cry as soon as they get cupped. As soon as they fucking the finding out of the FAFO comes into being, they whine like little bitches. Look at this little cunt throwing fucking rocks, right? I mean, firstly, terrible aim.
Trying to aim for the van.
Oh no, it's ridiculous.
Whoa. Go back to that fucking shot.
It was
Where
bad.
did that...
Well, honestly, I think it hit one of the houses to the left of the cupboard.
He kind of...
Look at that!
Talk about hitting a barn door. He couldn't hit like a padded cell.
I don't think he's going to qualify for the discus team, if I'm entirely honest. Look at him acting like the big man, right? I'm chucking massive rocks at the coppers. Oh, all of that shit.
I'm just a wee birthday boy. I'm the birthday boy. Oh, you wouldn't hurt the birthday boy.
Start screaming, I'm a child. Well, you were acting like a big man a second ago, mate. Where did that go?
Bollocks.
Yeah.
Billy Big Bollocks has suddenly left the building.
Yeah, listen to him squealing as well. Is that the grunt of exertion from all the brick throwing as well, mate? Jesus. No, I have no idea if it's a child, but also I don't care. If you're going to throw concrete, you can eat a bit of concrete, mate. Enjoy. Prick. This isn't necessarily related, but as we had a very nice Polish lad in yesterday, I don't know if he's around tonight, much love if you are, this dickhead on the train starting a fight with another bloke, and then 2 Polish lads kick fuck out of him. We don't see anything, it's perfectly TOS.
I just don't want to fight anyone. No one wants to fucking touch me. You being serious? Go on then. You being serious? Go on then. What you got? Show me what you fucking got. No, nothing. Put your fucking hands up like a man. There. You go fucking hands. You go fucking hands.
See? Immigrants coming in doing the jobs that Brits don't want to do. Yes! Let's fucking go!
True. Looks like someone's just subscribed named Foz over on YouTube. Is that the Foz from Peep Show? Bacon Shoulders.
I hope so.
Sorry to insult you if your name is actually Foz, but there is a character in... it might be American if you're from the Lola Box.
Could be a Fozzie Bear reference.
Could be Fozzie Bear.
Oh, another fuck around and find out situation. Big man when he's got a copper in front of him. See, let's put our phones down and get rid of the police. So in other words, let's fight. I want to fight you. I want to physically assault you, is what he's saying when the police are there.
Fella, you called me. Look at you little bitch. Fella, you're supposed to be there peacefully. You from the coppers,
Go on, you've acting bad before, weren't you? No, don't touch me either. No.
Go on. What were you saying about the Palestine flag? You little rat. Look at you now. This is what you're like, you little scumbags. When we fucking can, you fucking shake our hands and dirty cunt. Pig. We're Muslims. We can fucking annihilate you now. But we're not like that.
And your best mate's going to see this. He's going to be happy to see this. You're a fucking rat, mate. That's what you are. You're a rat.
I'll tell you what, I know it's completely beside the point, really. Do you know what I fucking love, though?
What?
I love northern Muslim accents from the UK. like British Asians with northern accents. I fucking love that shit so much.
Is it because of Four Lions? Because you're not supposed
Not
to like those characters, really.
Even before Four Lions, I mean, like that guy we saw like making a statement in Sunderland with like the thick Macam accent.
Yeah.
It made me, it made me warmed the cockles of my heart. It really did.
Yeah. Rohak, 1 second, mate. Hang on. Let's. Yeah, you want to link to that? Boom. There you go. Again, they're all fucking brave when there's a copper in front of him. Now this is from my own home. No, this is from Southampton. What I love about this, right, is, as it says there, what did he expect? What did he think was going to happen here? Okay, so this is a fascioid in the distance there. He's trying to get to the anti-fascioids. The coppers intercept, but like, he's not. I don't think he's going to be making the rugby team with these kind of juking skills, you know. He breaks into a light trot. What did he breaks into a light trot and slightly veers to the right? What the fuck is? What did he think? Yeah, obviously you're gonna get taken down, you prick. I love it. They're just so stupid. Oh, we saw that one. Oh yeah, so this was like literally 2 days apart. So Farage warns Britain is at quite perilous point. Immigration, blah 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 blah. And then a day later,
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with a...
Like the Express, we know who you are.
We know what you did.
Exactly. Like, fuck you. You don't get to fucking pretend. Oh yeah, so the guy who was carrying a knife in Birmingham, which I outlined the other day, has been arrested. This guy Shiraz Sarwar, 46, was pled not guilty. Which, I mean, good luck with that one, I guess, mate. Because I definitely saw you. Like,
yeah, seems a little bit hopeful at the very least.
Yeah, bit weird, mate. But anyway, I mean, yeah, good luck, I guess. What we got? Oh yeah, Free Palestine. Obligatory.
Has been a positive one here. However, the shops in the local area, the parade of shops around here, have closed early throughout this afternoon. Back to you, Ben.
Nick, thank you very much indeed.
It's just every time they come off, man. Hang on, you want a link to this lad? Okay, 1 second. Apologies. Where are we? Yeah, so this was Walthamstow. Look at that. That is a fuck of a lot of people.
I'm recording all these people today.
That's mad. Anyway, you get the idea. It's, you know, it's a pretty boring clip, but you get the idea. Nazis not welcome in Southampton. True. This was a thing that went around. I mean, I suppose we'll play it. This is the kind of abuse that Muslims unfortunately are getting right now. It's fucked up.
You Muslim terrorist bastard! You Muslim terrorist bastard! You Muslim bastard! You get off the bus! You get off the bus, big man! You get off the bus! 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 You son! You terrorist bastard! You Muslim bastard! You Muslim bastard! You Muslim bastard! You terrorist bastard! Muslim everywhere! Ye are terrorists! Ye are... Muslim bastard!
I love an Irishman accusing someone else of terrorism. Like, motherfucker. Like, we only just fucking got rid of that tag. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not
and
fucking.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even. It doesn't matter which side of the island that you're from either, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could be from the IRA. You can link to the IRA or the UDF.
Exactly. Talking of which, 2-year anniversary yesterday of passing of the Inflation Reduction Act. Massive fans of the IRA.
True. Joe Biden, our biggest IRA fan.
Absolutely love it.
It was a really great picture of Ed Miliband in front of what we can learn from the IRA presentation he was doing at some conference. Yeah. Very funny.
Still good. So again, in case anyone was wondering as to whether Nigel Farage explicitly blames Muslims for this,
We have
Also,
a growing number
thank
of
you.
young...
Also, speaking of Nigel Farage and the IRA, thank you, Morinark, for alerting people that we now have an up the Ra emote.
Up the Ra, Nigel.
We have a growing number of young people in this country who do not subscribe to British values, in fact, loathe much of what we stand for. So what do you do?
Who are we talking about there?
Oh, I think we see them on the streets of London every Saturday.
What do they look like? Oh, we're talking about...
What do they look like?
Are we talking about Muslims here?
We are. We have a...
Nigel, you've got blood on your hands, mate. Don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, literally, again, just trying to wash... Again, it was like the clip we saw from his interview. It's like, oh, no one ever told anybody to go out and do any violence. No one said you did, mate. But what you did do was lay fertile ground for that violence to happen through stochastic terrorism.
Yep.
Like, it's really weird, again, how all of the rightoids seem to remember that stochastic terrorism was a thing when Trump got shot. And they were like, oh, this is because of all the things the Democrats have been saying about him, or what the left have been saying about him. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so you believe stochastic terrorism is a thing now, do you? Okay, that's interesting. It's an interesting thing.
And
it's like, at no point did libs of TikTok ever say, please go and bomb threat this children's hospital. But weirdly, she mentions children's hospitals on her Twitter feed, and then they magically get bomb threats afterwards. Isn't it strange?
Have you got an emote of me? Oh, that's adorable. Oh,
yeah, of course we do.
Bless. Oh, that's lovely.
Those Walthamstow. Thank you, Jack, for the $9.99. Those Walthamstow numbers will go down in history to be as legendary as Cable Street. There will certainly be a big notes in the historical viewpoint of what we've been living through.
Also, I sort of hope it doesn't, because Cable Street became a much bigger touch point issue, especially for the left, in the light of what happened in Europe after that. So it was like, yay, we were ahead of the curve, fuck fascism. After the war, it became a much bigger thing than it was necessarily before. So let's hope it doesn't get as big as that, because we would need a corollary effect and all the rest of it. Anyway, what was I going to say? Someone did make a point in chat that I wanted to respond to, and I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Much love. Oh, Sean Berry had a thing to say. She was on LBC, I think. Talking.
I love me some Sean Berry.
Yeah.
And I was there amongst the protesters last night. It was incredibly heartening to see so much togetherness, leadership from people of Brighton, and we saw that right across the country as well. People were absolutely determined to put themselves in a position of defending these targets that had been rumoured on the internet, and to say that, you know, we don't stand for that in Brighton, in Bristol, in North London, Sheffield. I also saw really big crowds. It really gave me enormous heart that there is this feeling in the country, and that it provided such a deterrent to the far right. Hopefully they'll realise they're a tiny minority. The vast majority of people in the country are...
Oh, so all of a sudden you hate a minority?
A minority in our... Yeah, racists are now a minority in our own country.
Exactly. We've had all these anti-racists come in, taking good racist jobs. What the fuck am I talking about?
What do you think that then MPs should be doing in their local constituencies to help calm tensions and to support minority groups who may be feeling uncomfortable right now in their communities following events from the last week?
Absolutely. Speaking up,
hey, Belfort, thanks for 5 gifted.
Your Muslim brothers and sisters, and we've seen other targets from these same far-right groups. Trans people have had a terrible time recently, and far too many politicians have been slow to stand up for those people as well. This spirit of togetherness, where when someone's rights are challenged, we will all stand together, is really, really important, and I'd like to see more from government. Also, I mean, as MPs, we need to be calling for genuine investment from the government in society, in building community cohesion, in building community infrastructure, so that people in daily life are coming together in community settings. I've seen far too many community centres closed, youth services have been absolutely decimated, and we have seen far too many young people, very young people, drawn into this current wave of racist violence, and that worries me hugely. We need to see reinvestment in the country, and I wrote to the Home Secretary asking for this week.
And again, it's right. If you don't create community for people, if you don't build the the infrastructure necessary. You don't build the things necessary to find community with people and to facilitate the creation of community links. People will try and find community elsewhere. They might find it in good places. Plenty of people have built communities themselves from in the absence of government funding, usually as a motivation to stop the government from defunding this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't find them a community there, they can find community amongst where they might find it, say for example, on the internet, which is prime for the radicalization from what we've seen recently.
True. That was a thing from Barnsley.
I like the clip.
Oh, you want to play? Oh, you can do if you want.
I like that. I like this clip a lot. It warms my heart.
You just like Northerners.
I do like Northerners. That's why I lived in the north for so long.
Well, exactly.
And Nottingham's close to the north as well. It's like the most north in the Midlands you can get.
Yeah, I'd say it's the start of the north, in all honesty. But
Sheffield is really the start of the north, but Nottingham's close.
Yeah.
We've got a bar over there that's Brazilian, favela. We've got Pizza Americano, which if you're from Barnsley, it's an absolute stronghold of after a night out, everybody's getting a pizza from there, owned by people who are not from Barnsley, foreign people. Soul Lounge, not British, not Barnsley. Everything in this town has got some contribution from non-British, non-Barnsley people. Half our Barnsley team are not British, and we love it. The immigrants make our society better. They're what make us better as people.
I would not praise the Barnsley football team as a sign of positivity. In all honesty, like I'd leave that aside. You're making good points beside, but don't be like, look how great the Barnsley team is. They're all immigrants. No, leave it. You're not helping. You're not helping your argument.
I think as well as that.
To be British.
Oh, hang on, sorry, go on.
People keep saying, right, well, these people from other cultures, they don't integrate in our society. Mate. If they're such a part of your community that they have integrated so much, they're now an integral part of your night out on the lash, the most quintessentially British thing that we have left, which is going to the pub, right? Yeah. If they're there to give you the high carb, high fat, low nutrient content food that you can use to soak up the booze at 2:30 in the morning, then they clearly have integrated. Clearly, that is the most integrated one can be if you're literally the end game for a night out on the
exactly.
I don't even drink.
Yeah, if you're the backbone, if you're offering cheesy chips at 3 a.m, you are the backbone of this nation. God bless you.
Bro, literally true.
And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people making the small minorities in society the scapegoat for all the problems. Your problems are from classism. Your problems are from the top down, people making us feel small because we're working class. But I'm proud to be working class, and I'm proud to be anti-racist working class as well, and I will not have it in my town. We've got a bar over there that's
Love
Brazilian.
It. Absolute
legend.
Queen
Absolute
shit.
Legend.
Love it. Oh yeah, Darren Grimes, the quote-unquote journalist, spreading nonsense about emergency detainment camps in the Falklands.
Yeah, Darren Grimes is just a grifter. He's literally, guy believes in nothing, does nothing. He's found a very large audience of people who will just latch onto him if he just does racist stuff or spreads conspiracy theories. And, it's easy fucking money, right? This guy's a fucking Lib Dem on the Remain train.
Yeah.
Before the Brexit vote actually happened, and he realised, oh, maybe I can pander to Brexit voters, and then suddenly he became Brexiteer and started being on GB News. Weird how that happened as soon as he found a financial niche.
Yeah, old crafty wank.
It always reminds me, in fact, remember that, I don't know if you saw this, and you must have done, because you were like well on the internet sphere at this point. This was your heyday. When Kyle Kalinske did a video where he talked about how one time Dave Rubin came up to him and said, okay, so your channel on YouTube doing really well. Like, what's your goal? What's your end goal of all of this? And it was like, what end goal? I just want to make videos on YouTube and talk about the politics I like.
Yeah.
And there's this big, huge difference because Dave Rubin just wanted to be a famous political commentator.
Yeah.
Didn't care about any of the actual politics. Same with Darren Grimes.
Well, we know from one of the rare moments of openness and honesty from Blair White that she's spoken a couple of times about the fact that behind the scenes, several right-wing talking heads will just say they're full of shit. They're just lying for the money. They don't actually believe these things at all.
Like, she never said who it was specifically, but we all know it's Stephen Crowder.
Yeah.
We all know that it's fucking Crowder.
Of course
like, that guy getting free healthcare in Canada and then attacking people who support free healthcare in America. Like, it's just obvious. I mean, every single right-wing Canadian who panders to an American audience, all fucking grifters. All of them grifters.
Yeah, absolutely. Although it was funny when that union guy twatted him.
Oh my god, that was an absolute perfect moment. Actually, can we bring up the clip? Bring up the clip.
Okay.
Let's watch it. It's absolutely.
Exactly.
It's quite the moment.
Yeah. Union punch Crowder. Come on, algorithm. There we go. Oh. Union assault on camera. Yeah, you got in his face, mate. Like, yeah.
It's about right to work that you oppose so much. Whenever you oppose about right to work, it's because it's the freedom to freeload. They can suck all of the parasitical benefits and the hard wages that unions have negotiated, and they get it for free.
Already destroyed one tent. Leave the tent alone.
Get the out of my face!
Don't tear down the tent.
Get the out of my face!
You hurt a lady in there.
You're addressing me. I ain't hurt nobody. You hurt the out of my face. Back the fuck up.
Stop tearing down the tent.
Back the fuck up.
Okay. You just assaulted me,
I do not condone this.
No,
I do
bad.
not condone this.
Bad.
This is terrible. Oh god, he's been hit. No, Stephen, how dare they? No. Also, that top comment, incredible.
Disavow.
Perfect.
I see why Crowder stuck to bullying scrawny teenage college kids after this. The best part is when Crowder gets punched in the face. Morgan Freeman, and that's the day Stephen stuck to bullying college freshman girl. This is his own video. This is his video, and the top comments are all like, "Oh, I loved it when you got punched in the fucking face."
Yeah, literally. If you ever want to fucking blow open this myth about they speak for the people, man, just ask them what they think about trade unions. Instantly, just like, oh no, they love right to work because they're the foot soldiers of the business class, of the bourgeois.
The context is Stephen Crowder's scum and got in the face of some union guys, and one of them, again, we disavow. But yeah,
we disavow. But that's a description of what happened.
Might have punched him in the face in a way that
indeed.
People described as orgasmically funny.
Yeah, that's it. Some people have described that. Some may say, indeed, that he got what was coming to him. I'm not saying that, but some may say that.
Exactly. It has been noted by some people that's the case.
At the end of the day, right? To quote the absolute, the most eloquent public figure in UK history, chat shit, get banged.
True say. Yes, also, Stephen Crowder, domestic abuser as well. So, if you were feeling sorry for him, I don't think you need to.
If only chat shit, get banged was a little bit of a shorter phrase, I would definitely make a Jamie Vardy emo.
Yes, true. Okay. Ricky Jones, a man I'd not heard of before, but is a...
Can we play this clip on stream? Is this TOS?
I don't know. Is it? Now you made me wonder, because I'm thinking like it's just news, isn't it? We're not saying this is a thing that's good. This is just a thing that happened. Should we not play it in case? I don't want to risk anything. Okay. But anyway, the point being is he said the thing that you can see on screen there, and has been suspended from the Labour Party.
And arrested now.
And arrested, yeah. I think fair enough. Don't get me wrong, I would be less harsh with him than I would with the fascists saying the same thing, because for a start, they intend to do that shit. But you still oughtn't make violent threats, especially if you're an elected representative.
Exactly.
Really.
Yep, 100%, 100%, absolutely. And all it does is damage the broader movement. All it does is make us this is why message discipline is so important. It's why the Palestine protests in America and in the UK, although we did it better in the UK. The American ones are a bit weird in places. But in the UK specifically, the message discipline was incredibly strong throughout the Palestine protests. But when Suella Braverman went over, trying to get an interview with one of them, trying to get them to speak to her, trying to rile them up, trying to get their juicy footage they could use to attack the protesters with later, they're like, no,
just
you have
ignore
to be
them.
quiet. We have a dedicated media liaison. Speak with that person. They can discuss these issues with you. As for us, we are staying completely strum. We are here to protest. We're not here for you to get juicy clips for GB News.
Yeah, exactly. They just stonewalled her, and rightly so. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the front page of the Liverpool Echo. Good stuff.
I need the loo, so if you can just entertain people. I mean,
Yeah,
just
we'll do.
continue
We'll do.
scrolling.
We'll
Just
do.
continue scrolling through bookmarks and playing clips. Anyway, I don't mind.
Will do.
I'll still be able to hear. I've got my wireless headphones in. So.
Indeed. So this was Mick Lynch being Chad as always back in June.
Farage is a very dangerous politician. I think he's a
That is very loud. That does not need to be that loud.
Farage is a very dangerous politician. I think he's a racist. I think he's a charlatan.
He would
and
push
he's a
back on that
predator.
if he was sitting
Well,
here.
he'd be entitled to. But from what I've seen, he's convinced me that he's a racist, and he's prepared to pay with racism and xenophobia and nationalism in a very dangerous way.
Again, he just stays winning. He just stays posting dobs all the fucking time. Before the Daily Mail started calling it out, before the Express, all of those fucking melters, before the Labour Party realised that actually maybe we shouldn't be hating on Muslims so much. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Mick Lynch was ahead of all of them. One of the few motherfuckers in the mainstream media that gets any press coverage whatsoever to say that shit. Love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, so that's Stella Creasy being a melter. John Ashworth, who's a man, can he just fuck off? Can he actually just fuck off? You lost, mate. Just shut the fuck up. Anyway, he says, shameful from Jenrick. That's talking about Robert Jenrick and his bullshit about arresting people for saying Allahu Akbar, etc. People across Leicester are offering mutual support and solidarity. Should we go back only a few weeks to this absolute fucking hemorrhoid making his excuses for why he lost?
A campaign was organised nationally by a national organisation called The Muslim Vote, whose campaign was clear on their website. Punish MPs. That's the words they used.
The word was punish, was it?
Punish MPs. Punish MPs is what the The Muslim Vote organisation talked about. A campaign was organised nationally.
Oh no, The Muslim Vote. An organisation that wanted to rally Muslims to voting against you for supporting the murder of Muslims. Crazy! You fucking gimp. What's this? Oh, this guy. This is good energy, I think. That's the energy, people. That's the pitch we need to be at. Fuck yeah. This guy channeled us all. Exactly, yeah, that's the best of British right there, people. Where's this? Update. This is from Bristol. That's a lot of fucking people, man. Honestly, the EDL better be fucking careful. If they're going to turn up at the weekend, and there's plans afoot, if they're going to turn up, there's gonna be trouble. They're going to get fucking hurt. Again, I don't condone that. That's obviously bad. But it's inevitable, is all I'm saying. Okay. So, just in case you were wondering about, racism in the Labour Party, this is from Lauren Edwards, MP. Labour MP for Rochester and Strood, which doesn't sound like a real place, Americans, I know, but it is. Anyway, a statement. I have recently been made aware of a small number of tweets that I posted on Twitter over a decade ago, which I now deeply regret. They were a significant error of judgment on my part, and I apologise wholeheartedly. Since becoming a local councillor and more recently an MP, I have seen firsthand the importance of bringing communities together and working with tolerance and respect for all in our society. I pledge to use my platform to continue that important work and dedicate myself to serving all residents of Rochester and Strood. Okay, one of those tweets was indeed... oh, fuck. Oh, do I have to scroll back down now? Fuck. There is an R word incoming. I won't say it, but it's there, okay? One of the tweets in question that people dug up was... I want these Estonian R words out of my flat now. Which brings up two interesting points. Firstly, her use of the R word. Pretty disgusting and ableist. Secondly, she's a fucking leech. She's a fucking landlord leech piece of shit. And this is a fucking Labour MP now. Oh, Labour Party, what have you fucking become? Oh. Gross. Kev, if you click on the timestamp on a tweet, you can open it as a tweet on its own. I know I can do that, but often that means I have to change the screen that's being shared. So, it's not really of any use to me, but I do appreciate the technical advice. Thank you, Roback. Anyway, so, you know, if you were wondering about if there were any sort of racists in the Labour Party, yep, plenty of that shit going down.
Well, the thing is that I said this. Do you remember when Ollie Robinson was taken out of the England Test team for one test because they found some historic tweets of his, right? I did a whole ass video about how performatively getting mad at people for things that they said ages ago is stupid, and I hate it, right? The issue, of course, is that, you know, she can apologize for it. People are mad about it. That's fine for PR. And you know what? Sure, this probably should be the end of the matter. But let's actually put this in context, shall we? This is in the same context where we had scores of left-wing MPs removed from long lists, having their positions as MPs terminated, or tried to be completely purged from either the parliamentary party, or indeed having their membership purged from the party, over things that were historical, that were way less bad than this, or indeed something that wasn't even bad at all, but could be perceived to be bad, so something got rid of them, under the name of due diligence, right?
But actually, it was ideological purging, is what it was.
Exactly. We're only picking high-quality MPs, is what we're doing. That's what we were told. That's what the liberal, Starmerite
best candidates for the job.
Yeah, they say, oh no, you just don't like them because your candidates aren't high stand enough. They've gone through a proper vetting process, and that's why we have the MPs we have now. All these excellent landlords and think tank people and people with connections to lobbying groups. They're all the best quality MPs, and they couldn't even do the basic due diligence and vetting procedure just to go searching through each MP's tweets for the R slur and then just sorting by latest. And finding out if anybody had said anything like this at all would have been super easy to do, right? If they were actually doing vetting procedures like they said that they were. But of course, as you say, Kev, they weren't doing this at all. What they were doing, as you said, was ideological purges of anybody on completely trumped up charges for no reason, including liking a tweet that said Nicola Sturgeon had no longer got the coronavirus. That's something got removed from a shortlist for. Or a long list even, sorry.
Mad.
And in Faiza Shaheen's case, she was already the selected candidate and got removed, among other things, for complaining about her own experience of racism in the Labour Party because it made the Labour Party look bad. So previously racist tweets, again, something I don't think she has to be cancelled for right now, right? But it's clearly something that might come up should you get elected as an MP. There's something that's important for your vetting processes. That clearly not important to these people actually are making racist statements like you see on screen right now, but talking about racism that you experience internally within your party, instant disqualification even after being selected. And it's this, and again, the fact that no one asked this in the media, no one discussed this in the media, nobody discussed all the NEC people just getting to have a circular approval group to put people on as MPs, parachuted in with no process going through the internal party whatsoever. Loads of people parachuted in elsewhere because they're from the right think tanks, like Torsten Bell. Yes, I'm calling you out specifically. Chris Curtis, a guy from fucking Opinion, was a pollster, getting put over Lauren Townsend, a real lefty. and trade union organizer who'd done loads for her community. No fucking journalist touched this with a barge pole apart from Michael Crick and Novara Media and people like Owen Jones, for example. Like individual journalists that don't have connection to the MSM and Michael Crick. That's it. Those are the only people that you got discussing how blatantly factional this was and how much of a purge it was. One selection in 2014 where someone was removed from a shortlist was enough to get the media into a spin when it was perceived against the left. But as soon as the right-wingers are the ones who are in control of the issue, they won't attack the right, the press, of course, because they're perfectly fine to just say, well, actually, due diligence and grown-up politics is when the left wing do not have any voice whatsoever, because they all believe that. They all believe that to be true. Their definition of what counts as being a high-quality candidate is not being left-wing. That is the only definition.
Literally, yes. So there's the racism and ableism in there. You will not see mentioned in the mainstream media. This basically won't be talked of as a story. If a left-wing MP of any description, imagine if Jeremy Corbyn came out and said something a tenth as bad as this, it would be splashed all over the front pages. It would be fucking everywhere, because literally every tiny infraction was built up to this thing of, oh, anti-Semitism is rife in the Labour Party, etc., etc. Whereas blatant, out there fucking bullshit like this will be ignored because she's one of the in-group.
Exactly, and as I said, like, I don't think she should be cancelled for it. Again, this was 15 years ago or whatever. Like, it's meaningless to bring this up right now in general. But there is the specific context of what counts as due diligence and what doesn't. And again, it's the clear ideological divide, the factional divide in what gets brought up and what doesn't. It's as simple as that. Like, that's the problem here. Because again, like I said, Ollie Robinson shouldn't have been taken out of the test team for things he said when he was a fucking teenager. Well, to be fair, she was 27 when she tweeted this, so it's not like she was a child. Like Ollie Robinson was. He was a literal child for the tweets that he got pulled up, and it was stupid when he got removed from the team.
True. Tommy Robinson being a dickhead. We don't need to watch him. We just don't.
No, we don't. What was Politics for You's quote over him? What did they say about him?
They said, nobody knows how to play the victim quite like the far right. A crowd of your fans attempted to burn hundreds of people to death. They blocked the exits so no one could escape, and you're crying because your holiday was interrupted. Yeah, it's fair.
Yep.
Also, Tommy, you going to come back and reclaim the streets, are you? Oh no, because there's an arrest warrant out for you. You're under the lamb, aren't you?
True, okay. Yeah.
So that's the Evening Standard, pretending it didn't play its role in that. That was the Evening Standard, previously edited by George Osborne, in case anyone was wondering.
Yep. This is a casual jump from politics to journalism, just a career change. There was nothing untoward about the previous Chancellor of the Exchequer having editorial control over the second biggest free newspaper in the country.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Sure, it's fine.
Yeah, just like the husband of the Home Secretary interviewing the Home Secretary. It's not. It's not an incestuous gangbang of evil bastards. It's not. How dare you?
No, they're not shitting where they eat at all. It's not. It's not like an Ouroboros of blowjobs, is it? No. How dare you suggest such a thing?
That's student politics. The sensibles are back in charge, and they know how to run things. Okay.
Yeah, sensible politics is where you just assume that people's conflicts of interests are being mediated perfectly well by the people with the conflicts of interest.
Yes. I think this means something in pirate, but I'm not sure. It's from Bristol, so it could be. Fascism is not Gert Lush. Can someone translate?
It's not Gert Lush. It isn't.
That's exactly. Bro ho ho.
My dad is from Bristol, so I heard this a lot growing up.
Oh, good lord! What does it mean?
I mean, Gert means very, and lush just means nice.
So it's not very nice.
No.
Well, so much for the tolerant left.
True indeed. How dare they say that the ideology of fascism is not nice?
Exactly. That ironically is not Gert Lush. It's not.
True.
See, I speak pirate now. Oh, Piers Morgan can fuck off. I don't know who this Malta is, but anyway, whatever. Oh yeah, Yvette Cooper and the Chief Whip told Labour MPs to stay away from anti-racist demos. Presumably because they'd be confused with the fucking EDL, some of them, I imagine.
And again, they just want to. It's this whole party of government, not protest, right? If we're there with protesters, then we're the party of protest now. We're sensible parties of government. Don't stand with their communities. Like, it's really boring, fucking optical politics, politico bullshit.
Yeah, the Labour Party are dog shit. I love old people doing it. Grannies Against Fascism. Our City of Sanctuary. Much love, Bristol. Much love. Yeah, the jewellery quarter. I was genuinely proud of Birmingham yesterday. The jewellery quarter was like fucking full of people.
That's so good.
That's fucking dope, man. Love it. Absolutely beautiful shit. Nish Kumar had some things to say. Let's have a look. He's usually alright.
It's okay to be scared, because it is scary. I had a panic attack yesterday because I have post-traumatic stress disorder that I was diagnosed with after a series of racist death threats that I received in late 2019 and early 2020. So, like, when I say I'm scared, I am medically scared. But I think we will be okay in the end, right? Because none of this is new. These people with their Nazi salutes up, they haven't even got a new guy. They're still using the same guy from the fucking 1940s. They threw rocks, they set dogs on our grandparents and our parents. The same hate that ran in those people's blood pounds through their veins. But at the same time, we're going to be okay because we are the children and the grandchildren of the people who defied them the first time around, okay? So it's okay to be scared, but learn the lessons our mothers and fathers and grandfathers taught us. Stand your ground, be brave, we'll be okay. Okay, and that's all I want to say.
Fair. That's nice.
I do love Nish Kumar. I really do. I know. I loved him being terrible on Taskmaster as well.
He was.
Must be.
Almost
he was
deliberately
god
awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Also, that the Lord's Taverners threw bread at him is still funny that happened. Gus Khan, love it. Who was actually very good on Taskmaster.
He was, yeah.
From one extreme to the other, you know.
Can I just say that if you're willing to go prison for 3 years for looting Greggs for their last steak bake, then big man, that is a level of commitment to puff pastry that I cannot comprehend. You must have been hungry, yo. Hey, yo, hungry, bro.
And I love that he tagged Greggs in it as well. Like, what? Is he trying to get a fucking deal? Is he trying to get adverts?
If he wants to start the GDL, I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yes. Greggs is the only thing that's keeping us together as a nation.
Oh, I remember during the riots in 2011, and I remember there was literally a Facebook page go attack the police off you all you want, but allow Nando's, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there are some fucking limits.
There's some lines you should not be crossing.
Exactly. Don't fuck with the peri bitches.
Absolutely. They're serving your communities.
Exactly.
Tasty grilled chicken at a very extortionate prices.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Yeah, so that's Newcastle showing up. Lovely stuff. Yeah, these fucking melters. So, I mean, presumably, because this is causing public nuisance, right? So presumably these dickheads get 5 years apiece, right? That's the rule, isn't it? We don't have a two-tier policing system, surely.
No, but they didn't conspire, right? If we can find evidence of them being in a Zoom meeting, but don't you think it's weird, Kev, right?
Yeah.
All of these Telegram groups, which are being used to organise these far-right things, right? Don't you think it's weird that there were no Sun journalists infiltrating them?
It is fascinating.
Isn't it strange?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it strange how the Sun journalist happens to infiltrate a Just Stop Oil Zoom meeting, but doesn't seem to care about infiltrating any of the Telegram groups full of neo-Nazis?
Yeah, no, that's...
Don't you think it's a bit weird?
Well, that's not to say they're not in there, but they're in there, I imagine, in their personal capacity. Let's say.
Yeah, exactly. But someone might call that two-tier policing.
You might.
Or, as Jim Speak says, two-tier policing, as in they have horns.
Yes! That's the way to go. Anyway, so... this fucking knob. I mean, he is the Prime Minister. I suppose we do sort of have to listen. Ugh.
Oh, really do. It's already 11:15. I'll fall asleep.
I know. Well, look, for the people at home, grab a Horlicks, listen to the Prime Minister. You'll be in the land of Nod before you know it.
I think the fact we didn't see the disorder that was feared
is because we had police deployed in numbers in the right places, giving reassurance to communities.
No, I think it's because thousands of anti-fascists went, no, fuck this noise. Whose streets? Say it with me now.
Our streets.
Our fucking streets. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Like
the police were there outside that fucking hotel, still got burnt down, didn't it?
Yeah,
because the police are
literally.
shit. No,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, finally we saw that the police again they weren't heavy-handed at all, and the real defense. And the best defense is a good offense, right? Make sure that you organise in so many numbers that the people don't turn up in the first place. This is what happened in Walthamstow and Finchley and in Nottingham and in Newcastle and in Brighton and in Bristol and in Birmingham and in Manchester and all across the country.
Plymouth. I saw fucking Northampton. Like, not a big place. There was a lot of people out. I was like, fair play, Northampton. I did not know your game. Much apologies, you know.
To demonstrate the criminal justice system working speedily. So yesterday you saw the sentencing of individuals who've been involved in disorder.
Yeah, fucking
days ago,
Accrington.
some of them getting sentences as long as 3 years. That sent a very powerful message. But I also think that the work that's being done jointly to reassure our communities is becoming more effective. Now, it's important that we don't let up here, and that's why later on today I'll have another COBRA meeting with law enforcement, with senior police officers, to make sure that we reflect on last night, but also plan for the coming nights.
As always, absolute fucking wet blanket. Nothing of worth or use. Literally, if he didn't exist, how would we know?
Yeah, exactly. Again, we needed a strong leader at this point, and we have fucking nothing.
He might as well have
El
gone on holiday, in all honesty.
Yeah. El Nico man in chat. Really weird how anti-fascists were out in thousands. There were, single-digit arrests, almost as though they know how to behave themselves. No, it's the two-tier policing thing again, right? We only behave well because the police don't arrest us. That's exactly how it works, right? Yeah, it must be because the police are taking a soft touch on us, and not to do with the fact that we all know our rights and we read up beforehand to ensure we don't break
And
the
just
rules.
generally, we're not fucking animals. Whereas, unfortunately, the fascists are actual vermin. So, you know.
It's true, they may or may not share some amount of DNA with rats.
True. I do love a Scouser. I do love a Scouser
I
talking
fucking love
some sense.
Scousers, yeah.
Let's go.
So, happy Thursday. I was in dialysis last night, and you know, if you're one of these little fucking gobshites that's been running around Liverpool, fucking scaring fucking Asians and whatnot, hey, have your head a wobble. You know what, I was in dialysis last night, and you know what, the nurses, the loveliest fucking women in the fucking world, do anything for you. And you know, when you're fucking hurt or been chopped up or fucking something stupid, that's the first place you'll go, you little fucking shits. And you know, they've been given letters on when you go home from work, be careful in case you get any fucking racist attacks. And you know what, them fucking nurses do fucking everything for people. And you don't deserve that shit, being fucking worried to go home from work because of you mindless, horrible bastards. Hey, have a fucking word with yourself. And you know what? The unity of Liverpool yesterday against these fucking dickheads. Well played. I wish I could have been there, but I couldn't. But you know what? Fucking great work. So you know, if you're one of these dickheads that's going around threatening fucking Muslims and whatnot, you're a fucking gobshite. And fuck off.
Fair
I
play.
love Liverpool. I love Liverpool. No one has already said what my favourite city was in the UK. I was like, well, Liverpool, because you know you're not going to bump into any Tories.
True. Absolutely wonderful stuff. That man, making poet laureate, that was fucking glorious.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Brum represent. Let's fucking go. Absolutely lovely work, lads. That's one hell of a look. Lovely stuff. And then I suppose, well, the last bit, the tragic roundabout. Let's have it. Honestly, it's been nostalgia TV on the Kev show for the last couple of days.
It really has.
I showed Christy Winters an episode of Bullseye yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I had to try and
Do you
explain
remember when
what
Charlie
Bullseye
Brooker
was.
showed Americans Bullseye?
Well, it is. It's the most mental fucking show.
I mean, it must be incredibly dull for Americans to watch.
Oh no,
It's not very funny
she
watching-
was saying like this is the most boring show I've ever seen. How
And
was
it's
this
like
even on
literally-
TV?
Like I remember the same that same bit of Charlie Brooker showing them our version of Deal or No Deal, and just how like it's just a guy doing Noel Edmonds impressions in a room with people with some boxes in like the cheapest studio you could build, and then in Deal or No Deal in America they've got fucking cannons with confetti
Yeah,
and
fucking-
supermodels holding
Yeah,
like briefcases.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like Howie Mandel and like a bevy of like supermodels. Hi, Howie. Like they do the full bit, man. It's like a fucking. It's like a. I don't even know. It's like a Miss World contest or some shit. It's fucking weird. Yeah. But they
I guess
do.
it's because the kind of people who watch Deal or No Deal in America are amazed by it and they'll watch it regardless. So they can make one episode a week and put it on prime time
Yeah,
because
exactly,
they've paid money for, confetti cannons and supermodels. But because in the UK, the only people who watch it are people who don't have jobs or are retired.
Or people who are
They're-
sick. Yeah.
Or people who are literally don't have anything that they're doing during the day. They're just sitting around. They're just literally turning on the TV and watch fucking anything because if you're retired, if you don't have a job, life is just boring and it sucks.
Yes.
So you'll just watch anything, and therefore they'll just pump out 5 a week, and they have to make it as budget friendly as possible.
Exactly. And honestly, fucking Noel Edmonds' hair, that took up most of the budget. That hair.
True. I remember Charlie Brooker commenting and saying that he looks like someone going to an 80s theme party as Noel Edmonds.
He does. He hasn't changed since the 90s. He hasn't changed since fucking Noel Edmonds' house party.
I remember that.
He really hasn't. I don't know if I've ever told you this. We nearly got kicked out. There was okay. So Noel Edmonds' house party was set in a fake town called Crinkly Bottom, right? But there was actually a house it's still there. It's like an ancient house where like the opening bit was filmed. Anyway, in the 90s when that show was big, they had a Crinkly Bottom theme park that they built like on the estate of that house, and we went there when I was a kid, right? And there was a wishing well thing where you could throw like 2p coin or whatever and make a wish. Yeah, it's fucking bollocks. And we nearly got kicked out because little Kev, I was about 5 or 6, was stealing the coins out of the wishing well. And my parents have never let me forget it, even though I don't even remember it happening.
Unfortunately, Moronaka, we can't watch that Screenwrite bit because it's copyrighted, but I absolutely would, 'cause I love that bit so much.
Yeah.
Whilst you're at the end of the bookmark, shall we
Yeah.
talk about the Hillary Cass revelations before we finish up?
Well, you can. Seems like you probably know a lot more about them. I only know the broad strokes.
Let me find the link so you can share it to the screen.
Yeah, will do. Yeah. I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief. I was a child. Leave me the fuck alone.
I see Paisley is trending on Twitter. I'm also whether it's the place Paisley, right?
Or
Whether it's
is
David
Ian
Paisley
Paisley? Is Ian Paisley Jr. dead? Fingers crossed. Come on now.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, of course, I do not endorse anything that Kevin has just said there. I hope that Ian Paisley Jr. is is doing absolutely, is in the peak of health, but is also deciding to quit politics forever and go and live on a farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just pop the
no,
link in
apparently Paisley are playing football. They're playing St Mirren in something. No, St Mirren are from Paisley. What am I talking about? Anyway, so it is technically, I suppose, a reference to the place, but thankfully, no fascist riots, which is nice.
I mean, Ian Paisley Jr. is tweeting out about how he's a fan of Curry Mile.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's not as bad as his fucking dad then. Who was, for the regular viewers, I've mentioned this before, but his political party were founded from an organisation called Save Ulster from Sodomy, which gives you a fair indication of the kind of family he comes from. Anyway, but I will just point out that Ian Paisley Jr. was found to be to have gone against parliamentary rules by taking a free holiday from the Sri Lankan government and then
He
asking
did
asking
that.
questions in Parliament about Sri Lanka, which he'd never asked about before. Which seems to me like you might be you should have gone to jail. You corrupt piece of shit. Anyway, I think, was he banned from the house for a week or something? Fucking hell, load of bollocks.
Absolutely. And on top of that, he revealed in an interview on Channel 4 News that Boris Johnson had told him before the election that he had always planned to ditch the Northern Ireland Protocol, that they was always going to renegotiate it, and there was never an oven-ready deal because he'd promised the DUP that they weren't going to keep the Northern Ireland Protocol because they hated it. They had made that explicit promise before the election, even though running on the idea that they wouldn't have to renegotiate it.
Yeah.
Because Boris Johnson is a fucking liar. Who knew?
Crazy talk. Crazy. So, wow, bombshell criticism of Dr. Cass, including the damning revelation that before she started the review, she was opposed to trans healthcare. Who could have seen that coming? Recommended a pseudoscientific book full of anti-trans hate and misinformation to colleagues. What's this? Dr. Cass was known by colleagues to oppose medical transition when she was appointed to the review after all. Oh, for fuck's sake. Before she started this review, yeah. Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the second one is even more damaging as well.
Yeah. Dr. Cass expressed her dismay and shock at the practice of medical transition to one of us before she started the review, and recommended strongly that we read the gender-critical, polemic, irreversible damage.
Yeah, literally. So it wasn't even the Hillary Cass review, it was the Abigail Shrier review, basically.
Absolute wank.
She described on the Cass review website as an expert who came in with no views beforehand, and when we know that fundamentally is not true. That comes from this paper, and it was written by this person here.
Yeah. My colleagues and I have been worried for some time about the way in which the Cass review has been... what the fuck? Reified. I was thinking, is that rifled? What? Anyway, reified into... It might have been rifled. Into a kind of sacred text when it's deeply flawed and infused with ideology. So I wrote a paper on it with Lorna Hobbs. And I'll have to give this a read.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth reading on screen, but that specific revelation is we now know that she was appointed politically, she was anti-trans beforehand, appointed by anti-trans people for explicitly anti-trans reasons, so they could use her findings to be able to have essentially to be able to codify the anti-trans position into kind of the political zeitgeist, and we all knew it was a fucking wash. Yeah. We all knew that it was all just a fucking setup, and now we know that this is basically the result as from what we've seen. And what's interesting as well is that the conclusions that she came to when presenting the report at the end of the report, obviously there are problems I do have there with the report, is that actually the conclusions she came to are far more reasonable than anything in irreversible damage as well.
Yeah.
So, like, irreversible damage is an issue. We need to stop all medical transition for everybody forever. And actually, when she did the research, she had to basically admit at some point, despite having been someone who thought all transition was bad beforehand, and was been revealed there, is that actually, no, she did some research and basically was forced to admit that it was good, but we had to have some weasel words in here to be able to allow the government to do what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
This was an ideological fucking, well, smear of all trans people, basically. Of the existence of trans people, and it's so and it's still going to be fucking government policy, because Wesley, good old fucking Wesley, is just a turf.
Yeah, he's just a fucking gigantic piece of shit.
Fuck's sake, this has to be fucking, this has to make it into the mainstream. Newspapers have to fucking get onto this. Because this is if this is the basis, because they're like basically saying we're going to implement the Cass review in full, and actually in Wes's case go further than that, because she didn't recommend stopping all puberty blockers for trans kids. That wasn't a recommendation that was made in that. So he's gone even further than that. But the whole ideological basis for it is this fucking review, which is obviously flawed at best.
Exactly. Or it was compromised from the start.
Exactly.
That's what you have to say. Because a lot of the conclusions were just kind of fine. Like, there wasn't many... the method was very suspect. But plenty of the conclusions, whilst I disagree with them, weren't like terrible. Like again, I disagree with the we should think. I mean, more research into puberty boxes is always good. She never said stop trans healthcare for kids.
Yeah.
She said we should have a different pathway, which is similar to what we have elsewhere, which is also fine. And she said that we need to have more regional provision for gender identity services because just having one at Tavistock was stupid because it overwhelmed the people who were working there. And her criticism of JIDS's data keeping was also good because it was bad for the people being treated if their data wasn't being stored properly, regardless of whether or not it was being done for nefarious reasons or not.
Well, there was...
So her conclusions were like not perfect, but fine.
Yeah. Well, exactly, yeah. No, it clearly wasn't the absolute panacea silver bullet that the TERFs were hoping for. Although they did try and treat it as such because that's the fascist playbook. Never admit defeat, right? Never admit that anything isn't totally 100% your fucking on your side. But there was the silver lining, I suppose, in this is that, like you say, having one clinic was ruled as bad, and so that's sort of stopped now. But there was the announcement this week. Was it 6 regional centres will be opening for trans healthcare in the near future. I don't know the exact timeline on that, but that will happen, and that essentially the stalled transition process for a lot of younger people will begin to get back into motion, and hopefully some of the backlog, the enormous, ridiculous, inhumane backlog, will begin to be processed, for want of a better phrase, in a medical sense, right? So that's positive news, but the problem is, of course, that with Wesley at the helm, I just don't trust that this is going to be handled in a caring or trans-friendly way. I don't trust him to be health secretary.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, he's terrible health secretary, and it's a fucking tragedy that he beat Mohammed by such a small margin. But hey ho, that's just the past, isn't it now? But again, I mean, even the castery doesn't give him the evidence to do what he wants to do, and it's miserable that even after it was being done. Because again, right. So the changing to the pathway is actually in Scotland. It's making it even more lengthy now. But even so, it was never about having the necessary evidence base. It was just finding some quotes that you can point out of context to be able to justify what you want to do politically, rather than having it be a tome that you can settle trans healthcare by.
Well, exactly. Yeah. It was an ideological football to begin with, and it's just being used in a slightly different way by similar forces now.
Yeah, exactly. And again, and literally, I really want to stress this. Like, the conclusions of the cast review in general, whilst being problematic, weren't terrible, and were supportive of the idea that we should allow people to be able to transition, both adults and children, depending on what point they are, with age-appropriate discussions in healthcare, and was slightly sceptical about puberty blockers and think there needs to be more research. Literally fine conclusions. And if you're somebody who's read and has promoted Abigail Shrier's irreversible damage before now, and then you've come to those conclusions after doing a thorough analysis of the literature, whilst ignoring a bunch of stuff that is explicitly pro-trans in terms of how it talks about healthcare, and on top of that, being ideologically compromised beforehand, and you still come out by saying that we should allow children to be able to transition but change the method for why we're doing it, shows you just how crazily warped the perspective of trans healthcare is in this country.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of the most successful medical interventions in any field of medicine. It's ridiculously successful in a way that, like, if you had that kind of patient satisfaction with cancer treatment, it would be revolutionary. You know. Anyway, annoyingly, considering we were about to fucking finish. You've been very generous with me tonight, everybody. Thank you, Ethics Dave, for resubscribing, and thank you, Rohack, for gifting a sub. But I'm now on a fucking hype train again. And now I can't leave. I know I can leave, but I can't, obviously. So if you wanted to be more generous and keep me here longer, you can, but please don't. I'm bad at shilling. Give money to No Justice instead. There you go.
Get me on a hype train. That would justify me streaming for longer.
Exactly, because honestly, she's just waiting now. Because I'm not finished. I can't finish, and I suggest that she probably wants to at this point. I imagine.
It's great. Miss Hire saying, "No wonder the BMA is fighting to help trans people." Well, literally, is the BMA said we think there are flaws in the cast review, and we want to do a review of the review. And fucking like Ella Whelan, the absolute hag from Spiked, was out there saying, "Oh well, the BMA are clearly ideologically captured and want to turn into a political thing rather than into a scientific thing. First of all, science is political. You can't prevent the two. Second of all, they're a de facto trade union. They are always going to be political as well. But the support of trans people is evidence based rather than politically minded. And especially galling for her to say that, oh, the BMA are playing political by opposing the Cass review, when we now know that the appointment of Cass, the commissioning of Cass herself, and the overall coverage of Cass after its release have all been done specifically for political reasons. So attacking the BMA over this rather than Cass and Badenoch and streeting all that bit is so fucking monumentally dishonest. What a prick.
Exactly, massive prick. But you know who's also a prick? Rohack, for gifting a sub and cheering one bit to edge me. We are 93% of the way through, and am I 2 minutes away from being able to close this down or not? Either way, go fuck yourself, Rohack, and thank you.
Are Iran and Israel edging? Many are asking this.
Absolute bellends, you fucking pricks. Thank you.
Thank you for the gifted.
Thank you, Arizal with 500 bits. You fucking knob. Arizal or Dave in North London. Much love. God, I hate the world. I will play Bullseye again. I will bore you to fucking death. Okay? Do not test me.
Is that not copyright?
Well, I didn't have any problems with it, and we played a couple of good chunks out of it. I played all the way. We played a good 5 minutes of it for the end bit with the prize, because I had to show where the prize is. This was a show from 1981, and the fucking Hoover they brought out was just magical. I'd be surprised if it could have sucked up a piece of dust. It was awful.
It's crazy watching if Americans are watching like British shows giving out prizes, because at least the prizes you get in the UK you don't have to pay tax on. Imagine winning a fucking shitty Hoover on an American game show and then having to pay prize tax on them.
Yeah, no, that's mad, isn't it? Considering Americans don't like billionaires paying tax, why are they having game show contestants pay tax?
It's honestly absolutely the American tax system is mental.
It's so stupid. It's such a broken country, fundamentally. Now, I get that Britain also is, so Americans don't feel patriotic about it. We're shit as well. But just looking at some of the American stuff, when you motherfuckers, what the hell is wrong with you all? Really? You've got school shootings every week. Just fucking sort yourselves out. Jesus. Every other country in the world managed to get that sorted. Why have you not?
Yeah.
Mad
also, people, you may be able to see this, Kev, but I'll show it to my stream. But this arrived for me this morning. It was on eBay. It was like $2.99. I got this cute little Palestine and Union Jack flag pin, which I think is quite cute.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
I thought I'd get something nice to show my solidarity.
Yeah.
And also, I think what I thought was really important as well, given that it's the British flag and the Palestinian flag together, just to show people actually, no, Britain does stand with Palestine. Every poll shows that we stand with Palestine. We are not like brain poisoned like Yankoids are to being pro-Israel for everything. No, we stand with Palestine, and every poll on war crimes and weapons sales and sympathy all shows that we do. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to the point where genuinely, there's been something of a sea change, I think, in British politics, where it can't even be ignored anymore. We were always pro-Palestine to a large extent because, it's pretty fucking obvious who's being fucked over there, and your basic human instinct is to try and protect people who are in a bad situation, right? But it was sort of ignored as an issue. Whereas it's sort of not ignorable anymore. It's in the age of Facebook Live and Instagram and TikTok and stuff, it's just in your face. You can see chopped up babies and shit all over the fucking place. So it's unavoidable, and so that natural inclination to support the Palestinian people has come through, and the Labour Party especially have had to modify their opinion. You could see him itching at the bit. Yeah, Israel does have a right to defend herself and all this shit, and all of a sudden he had to row that fucking back.
They had to row back so hard they had to replace Emily Thornberry as Attorney General after her comments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's still going to be a fucking Zionist prick, because he is. That's just who he is. But are they actually going to fucking stop arms sales to Israel? It's been mooted a couple of times, but it hasn't yet happened, so... Are they edging us on that? I don't know. Oh, for fuck's sake! Arizal David North London with 5 gifted subs, you absolute knob.
I mean, you can just finish during.
No, I can't. I obviously can't.
You physically can't.
I can't do that. Okay. You may leave if you wish. The Kev is not for turning. Okay. Just saying.
I mean, if people are going to be gifting subs to Kev, can you gift some membership arenas to me as well?
Exactly. Come on, people. Let's make it rain on a pair of hose. Let's go.
It's true. It's true.
Raid TYT to punish chat. I will never raid the Young Turfs. They can fuck well off. Did you see? Oh my god! Did you see before the announcement of Walls as the candidate? Did you see Cenk coming out massively in favour of Shapiro?
I was like, well.
Shapiro is the progressive. He's the progressive choice. Get the fuck out of my face, you absolute munter! Fuck off.
Absolutely, like king of the Melt Brigade, really
just ridiculous. Along with fucking dickhead Kasparian going on about fucking bonus holes and stuff. Like, what are you as an organisation anymore?
I mean, it's really is stupid. That's the thing as well, is that like, even obviously there was an announcement, like I think the day before when Waltz was picked, where they said it was down. The last two was Josh Shapiro and Tim Walz. But like when Jenkin must have written this article, there was a whole fucking host of people there. Like every single one of them was more progressive than Josh Shapiro, apart from maybe Mark Kelly. Like JB Pritzker, that guy's more like far more progressive than Josh Shapiro is, and is also Jewish. So you can't pull this. Oh, they just hate Josh Shapiro because they're anti-Semitic. No, we all. If I wasn't for Waltz, I was well in on the Pritzker train.
Well, I love that. Yeah, they've realised that the anti-Semitism thing has some sticking power to it, so they're going to carry on with that shit. But then you just go, well, we desperately wanted Bernie Sanders, who last time I checked was of that particular Semitic tribal grouping, actually. So, maybe wind your fucking neck in, you pricks.
Exactly.
Thank you, Rohak. Thank you, Rohak, for gifting a sub. Thank you, Bingus, for following, and thank you, Swirly Curly. We're on level fucking 4 now. Can you piss off? Can you actually fuck off now? I want to go to bed. And they do this all the. Well, I say they do this. They like torturing me with generosity, and I want to sleep, so just fuck off.
Have you ever considered that torturing yourself might pay the bills, Kev?
Well, someone did suggest starting an OnlyFans, and I just thought, who the fuck is paying for this? I can't give it away. What are you talking about? Jesus. Thank you for 2 bits, Rohak, you absolute melter. Love it. Oh, I don't know. Actually, well, I got raided by Voosh yesterday, which was nice.
Really?
So I had loads of Americans in. Yeah, he does, because he doesn't stream on Twitch, so he does like a soft raid because everyone go and check out this person, and then like you've got 500 fucking people or whatever. It's mad.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it was really nice, right? But we had loads of Americans in, and one of them said, it was such a lovely phrase. It was like, I can't tell if the things you're saying about this person are meant to be mean or not. Because I would say, like,
British. That's Britain.
You're a melter, you're a munter, you're a mutant. Like, he was like, I don't know if that's meant to be playful, so I had to translate myself for him, which is nice. I was like, when I called this person a cunt, I actually meant it. On this one occasion.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's even more difficult if they raid into an Australian stream trying to divine whether cunt was in a positive or negative context. Whereas that Reginald T. Hunter sketch, and it's just like when they talk about just went to the UK for the first time, said, "Oh, I was thinking about going to Wales today," and without a moment's hesitation, the person they said they shag sheep. It's like, what? I was like, yeah, as well, they shag sheep. And I was like, no, actually, it's just a joke that people do all the time.
Yeah. Just fair enough.
American folks on Riverboat Jack after a raid thought Kevin had a nice Scottish accent. Americans are... The schooling system in America is...
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Honestly, I think it needs to stop calling itself an education system, because that is false advertising.
It's fun. The thing I most commonly hear whenever we're streaming together is people say you sound like John Peel.
I've gotten that a lot. Yeah, you sound like John Peel. And I listen to myself, and I don't think I sound at all like John Peel. And yet, I get that all the time, yeah. You sound
I
like
think
John
it's
Peel.
similar.
Which
I don't think it's like a one-to-one, but...
We're not even from the same part of the country, I don't think. Wasn't he West Country or
No,
something?
no, I don't think it's the accent that is similar, but I think the tonality of the voice is very similar, I think.
Well, I'll take that, I guess. I mean, I can also be a
It's a very
pretentious
popular
prick when it
DJ.
comes to music, so like I
It's
reckon
true.
I can pull that off.
Absolutely.
But I am alive, so 1-0 Logan. Checkmate.
True. I'm 2-0. You've beaten Thatcher as well.
Exactly, beating Thatcher. Oh God, no! I'm not even going to make that joke because he was so much better than Thatcher. He was all right. He was
Yeah.
a lovely bloke. One of the few
Yeah.
DJs of his era who wasn't banging kids. So you know what I mean. We've got to hand it to him.
Yeah, but
thank-
wasn't he subjected to domestic abuse from his wife as well?
I can't remember. God bless him,
Let me
John
have a
Peel.
look.
I don't know.
Unless I'm misremembering.
I win, chat. Go fuck yourselves. Thank you for bits and everything, but the hype train's over, so you can suck my dick. Oh, lucky.
Marriages.
Seems inappropriate given what's being searched for, but you know, I said my piece. It's over.
No, maybe I'm misremembering whether it's somebody else. He had been accused of sexual misconduct at one point.
Oh, don't say that. I was giving him the fucking glaze up for not being a nonce. What the fuck?
Oh no, he openly admitted to sexual misconduct. Apparently.
When you say sexual misconduct, what does that mean?
In 2012, a woman stated she had a 3-month affair with Peel in 1969 when she was 15 and he was 30.
Oh, okay. No, I take it back. He was a nonce. Can people stop saying I sound like a nonce, please?
Yeah, it was a bit Bowie, isn't it?
A little bit Bowie.
Yeah.
See, all of a sudden, not so cute. It's not so. Don't look into people. Just don't.
What's interesting is he admitted it. He actually has admitted this himself. Peel told The Guardian in 1975 when it came to young women, quote, "All they wanted me to do was abuse them sexually, which of course I was only happy to do," unquote.
Oh no.
The girls used to in 1969, he said, girls used to queue up outside, by and large, not usually for shagging. Oral sex they were particularly keen on, I remember.
Oh, for
one of my
fuck's-
regular customers, as it were, turned out to be 13, although she looks older.
Oh,
he jokingly acted he didn't ask for ID.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I'd just like to say that the actions of John Peel do not represent Kevin Logan Industries in any way or any
No,
of its staff.
absolutely. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I didn't know any of that. Why wasn't that in the fucking media when he died? I don't remember any nonce related.
I guess because he'd admitted to it. Like, it was old news at that point.
Why wasn't that brought up when they were fucking glazing him up on Glastonbury every year? Why was he allowed to do the Glastonbury fucking shit every year that I remember from like when I was 5 to when he died?
They had to rename a Glasto stage because people brought it up. They were gonna have a John Peel stage, and they said maybe naming after a nonce probably not good.
But he still did the TV show every year, and no one went, Shall we not have the guy who was like, actually, I like to fuck kids. Honestly, it was amazing. I didn't ask for ID or anything, so you know. Like, maybe don't have him on the fucking TV ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, honestly, chat, you have abused me tonight. And probably not a great choice of words in the circumstances, but I could have just gone to bed perfectly happy, if slightly poorer. If you hadn't done this, I would have never needed to learn about John Peel being a nonce. I blame you, chat, for my mind being fucking hurt. You have killed me tonight, chat. I am dead.
Absolutely. Speaking of being killed and being dead, where are we going to raid?
That is an absolutely inappropriate segue. I appreciate it. I don't know.
Shall we raid into you, Gopnik? Because you, Gopnik, has raided me like 3 times and I've not raided back.
I won't be doing that. I'm not going to go any further than that. I'd just say I won't be doing that. I'm going to go to the serfs on YouTube,
Oh, they stream on YouTube. They stream. I didn't know they stream on YouTube. I thought it was just Twitch.
Well, they are on YouTube, so goodbye YouTube people. And on Twitch, who should we go into? Oh shit! I should probably check who the fuck actually exists on this channel. Hassan is going, but that would be a bit silly. Yeah, fuck it. I'll go to the surfs here as well. Fuck it. Okay, Lance is good.
But if we're going to go in the surfs, then I'll join on the surfs on Twitch as well. And YouTube viewers, I'm going to send you over to my left eye as well.
Yes, and I will be back tomorrow with Krista. It's your day off Fridays, isn't it?
No, I'm gonna do an afternoon stream. I didn't stream on Wednesday night because I was busy playing Magic, so I'm gonna do a bonus afternoon Friday stream. But that means I can raid into you when you're doing something with Christy. So
awesome. Yes. Check out. Well, you get a twofer. You can watch No Justice first, and then come over and have a chin wag with Christy and I. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Thank you for your generosity, and fuck John Peel, the dirty little nonce prick, and free Palestine.
Yeah, absolutely. Free Palestine as always. Take care, everyone. Bye.